money. From greater access to more races, here's how it happened. For decades, Formula One was owned and run by one man, Bernie Ecclestone. He was old school, someone who thought the sport itself was enough, and there was no need for all this modern marketing and social media nonsense. But in 2016, Ecclestone agreed to sell his baby to American group Liberty Media. It cost Liberty Media $4.4 billion, and they quickly got to work. We got an F1 app almost immediately, and teams were allowed to show us more from behind the scenes. One of Liberty's most important deals was with Netflix, which in 2019 brought us Drive to Survive. The effect? An almost 70% rise in viewership for races in the US alone. It's massively benefited Formula One online too, with a rise from 7.8 million followers across its social media platforms in 2016 to around 50 million today. New eyes are on the sport too, with F1's own subscription TV channel, which people can watch anywhere in the world. But the main market they've tapped into is the US. There's now 3 races there a year, in Texas, Miami and Las Vegas, and an American-branded team, Cadillac, getting involved in the sport too. More races seems to be the direction of travel. A street circuit in Madrid's being welcomed onto the calendar, while conversations around a Grand Prix in Africa have ramped up in the last few years. More big events could be in the offing too, after the massive F1 75 season launch event in London in 2025. 7.5 million people tuned in to watch it live across the social media channels, and that doesn't include the viewing figures for where it was broadcast on TV in certain countries. It seems Liberty will do whatever they can to grow the F1 brand. Their efforts have been worthwhile too, with Forbes valuing the sport at $17.1 billion back in 2023, almost 4 times more than what they bought it for in 2016. Not bad, considering it's seen as a sport where people just drive around in circles.
Good morning, 3 minutes past 6 on Monday the 10th of November. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with Arnold Clark. Get the UK's best used car deals guaranteed. And I know, sometimes I think some of you lot out there, you're hard to please. But sometimes people are very easy to please. And Liam is. He just said, morning, Jeff and Ali. Great show as always. Before we uttered a single word. So, Liam, very appreciative of that. It's a great start to our working weeks. Just very briefly, the rest of Liam's text goes on to say, with Liam Manning sacked at Norwich, would this be the perfect platform for Steven Gerrard to get back into his managing career in England? If not, who would be the ideal candidate? I think you might find Russell Martin's knocking on the door. But more of that later. Liam, thank you very much indeed for your faith. Blind faith, some might say. Coisty morning.
How are you, Jeff, sir? How's your weekend, my friend?
Yeah, okay, mate. Full of football as usual.
Exact same. There was plenty going on, wasn't it? I mean, there was, oh dear me, some good football. I was at Tottenham on Saturday. Thoroughly enjoyed that. I mean, it was just the drama at the end of that game was terrific. And then obviously I sat yesterday. I watched the early games. I probably picked the wrong one to tell you the truth. Palace Bright.
I watched that. I watched that. I mean, people who say it's not a derby, they're right, because it was the most passion-free encounter. There was no blood, guts and thunder.
Disappointing, wasn't it?
I thought Palace looked tired.
Didn't they?
Just looked tired. Mind you, one thing I will say is no Mark Gahey. The boy Canvo came in. Yeah. Goodness me, he was excellent.
Wasn't it just? He wasn't just. I thought Brighton is slightly better to play, maybe slightly better to chat. But I'm looking for things that probably aren't there. I thought it was poor.
Yeah,
it was poor. So I watched that. I watched the Rangers game. They played well first half, and then obviously I watched the big game, which they were impressive. I mean, they were impressive midweek. I was there in Dortmund. At home to Dortmund. I thought they were very, very good. Jeff, I thought they were impressive yesterday.
Yeah, they're on a roll.
How about that?
There's no question.
How about that left winger?
Oh, man. I mean, Doku, that must have been his best City performance.
Yeah.
Probably by a distance,
By a mile.
actually.
By a mile.
You know,
and the goal just capped it. The goal that was the proverbial icing on the cake, because I thought it was a terrific performance. You know, to the extent, that way you're sometimes feeling sorry for the fullback, Conor Bradley, who I thought was excellent in midweek against Madrid. Oh, yeah, he had his hands full. He had his hands full.
Yeah. I tell you who else, he never really gets a mention because of his position, but I thought Nick O'Reilly was excellent as well.
Oh, I like him.
Yeah.
And I tell you what he does. He's a goal-scoring threat. You know, I was like, it's not a kind of obvious thing you would say for a player in his position. But I think he's come. I think the best thing you could say about him, Jeff, he's come in there and A, not looked out of place, and B, he might be one of the first names in the team sheet now.
Yeah, and he's had an exceptional season. Up in Scotland, though, I mean, obviously Hearts held to a draw. Yeah. So, if you're a Hearts fan, are you worried?
Yeah, slightly concerned, because those are definitely the games you need to be winning. I certainly cut them a little bit of slack for the draw at St Mirren, a 2-2 draw at St Mirren, and then you're looking for them to bounce back, which they did, and then you've got another home game against India United. You're thinking those are the kind of games, if you're going to mount a serious challenge, because Celtic obviously had a comfortable one yesterday.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say you're worried. You're still very, very They've had a great start.
No, a great start.
A wonderful start, but you'd be slightly disappointed at that result. And Derek said, they probably didn't do well enough to win that game.
Yeah. First moan of the week.
Let's go.
Okay. Because so much televised football now. That Saturday night slot, I'm telling you, I watched Sunderland against Arsenal, which is brilliant.
What a game.
Fantastic conclusion. Yeah. Blood and thunder, everything you could possibly want. And then they put Chelsea Wolves. I mean, seriously.
I'm with you.
Not going to watch it.
No.
Not going to watch it.
And didn't.
No.
I get back up the road, in normal circumstances, we just maybe sit and order a bite to eat and watch it. We didn't.
We should start a campaign, ditch the Saturday night game.
I'm with you. So it's Saturday night, 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
That's Ant and Deck. That's not Chelsea Wolves.
Yeah.
unless we got Ant and Deck playing for Chelsea or Wolves, then it's a different argument, of course.
I didn't know Ant and Deck were in the Strictly lineup this year. Liam's been back on. He says, I've always got faith in you boys. I've got that much faith in you. I reckon Ali could take Norwich to the Premier League. I told you it was blind faith. I told you.
Mind you, what a job that is for somebody, dear me.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, was it 2-1 the weekend? Was it late?
Yeah,
last late on, wasn't it? Yeah. I saw it in 94.
I mean, we'll talk about it later, but I felt sorry for Liam Manning, who's been through a lot personally.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a great fit because he'd done brilliantly at Bristol City. He's a Norwich boy. But you can't lose in all competitions 8 consecutive home games.
Oh, no.
You just can't. No. So, anyway, there we go. Somebody's texted me anonymously and said, televised games are killing my relationship. And not surprised. not surprised. There is so much of it. Hi, lads. How good is Danny Rowe from a nil in the West Midlands? Being an Ibrox supporter for many a year, I feel so confident we now have the right man at the helm. He talks sense. Yeah. He talks sense, but people are talking about Rangers winning the title now.
No.
They don't talk sense.
I tell you what, he does. He's done well, though.
Oh, he's done great.
In terms of, he's just completely turned the thing around, But there has to be, as you correctly say, large slice of, realism more than anything.
Yes.
But he's come in, he speaks very, very well, conducts himself, in a good manner. I think it's, and that's the first thing that was required. To be honest, he's somebody that's come in and looks as though they've steadied the ship ever so slightly, and he has.
He's done brilliantly so far. Long road ahead.
Yes.
But he has done brilliantly. Right, the weekend started with 10 Man United nicking a point at Spurs, of course. Well, I'm not sure they nicked a point. I mean, no, it was a late goal. Well, thoroughly deserved point.
That's what I said. I said that in commentary, Jeff. I'm watching the game. And it was slightly amusing, I have to say. The Tottenham support, which they're entitled to do, made their feelings very well known to everybody in the stadium about the substitutions, right? They weren't happy.
Oh, yeah.
They were not happy. Now, I did mention it when the second goal went in. I said, I wonder how they're feeling now regarding the substitutions. But when the 10 men of Manchester United equalised, I thought it was the very least they deserved to win. I'm not sure MD deserved to win the game, but I definitely didn't think Manchester United deserved to be beaten.
Completely agree. Then we had the game at the Stadium of Light, which was fantastic.
Wow.
And then, of course, yesterday afternoon, you mentioned it, Pep's 1000th game in management. He was asked by talkSPORT about that special occasion, as well as a banner commemorating his achievement, which was held up by the City fans.
I didn't see the banner, was inside. The people told me. Hopefully I can watch it. I know. I just thank you. So I feel I've been in love, since the day I arrived here, how the people take care of me, and all I can do is work hard and do my best. So always Man City, this club will be my home. It's something unique what I experienced in these 10 years. So it's the place I've been the most in these 1,000 games, most here. And of course, there have been tough moments, but listen, in general, have been more joy than anything else. And yeah, now it's perfect. We have a rest a while and prepared the marathon that, because November, December, January, February is non-stop, and go for it.
Pep Guardiola, 1,000 games. So
great achievement, isn't it?
Yeah. Is he the greatest? Best of all time?
Oh.
Fergie, Wenger.
Well, there's a discussion. You've thrown at me at 6:10 on Monday morning. He has to come into the equation. Has to come into the equation. Success, without doubt. Not the argument, the discussion, or one of the points that would maybe be levelled against. He's done it with teams that have been fantastically backed. That's not his problem, it has to be said. I definitely think he's changed, certainly English football, with the way he came in and his teams played. But you think of the success, Barcelona, Munich, and Manchester City. I mean, it's incredible. Sir Alex is another one who would obviously come into the equation as well. But is he the best?
See, one of the things that I'm always impressed by him with, and people will say, look, he's always been at clubs that have been successful, regardless. Barcelona, one of the great Spanish clubs, obviously Bayern dominate the German league, and Manchester City with all of their money. But he has to manage in a very different way to the likes of Sir Alex. Yeah. There are things that Sir Alex could do that Pep wouldn't be able to get away with in this day and age. And he's also got to manage under an incredible spotlight, which wasn't quite the same, in the late 80s, early 90s. And with a huge group of incredibly well-paid players, which just makes life a tad more difficult.
I can see you with that. You're leaning towards Pep.
I am leaning towards Pep, I am, I just think that he reinvents players. I think he improves players.
They're different. I'll tell you one thing you can't argue about. They're completely different, those two. Yeah. I mean, you never get two different more different coaches. Polar opposites would probably nearly, you'd say. But, I mean, Pep, Sir Alex's achievements, Jeff, dear me.
Oh,
many titles did he win? 13 or something.
Yeah. And in fairness, I always do say, when people say, "Oh, is he the greatest ever?" You can't. It's impossible to compare generations. I mean, it really is.
Without doubt, it is. But more so in football than in probably any other sport. That's what we do. We sit and discuss it and have opinions on it and throw it around. Those two would definitely be at the top of the list.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Wenger would be right up there as well. So, you mentioned a moment or two ago about watching Ant and Dec. Text you saying the transfer window's open soon. If Ant and Dec play on the wing, there's every chance Chelsea will sign them. That's from Phil in Broadstairs. Thanks very much indeed, Phil. A great day for City then yesterday. Shocker for Liverpool. A shocker for Liverpool.
Wasn't it?
Absolutely. Liverpool fans did yesterday epitomise the major issues you're having this term. What are your realistic expectations of this season now? 03717 2233 Coming up, we'll turn our attention to the back pages, and it gets worse for you Liverpool fans, because not surprisingly Arne Slot is all over them. Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast. I'm Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist is with me. It's not a birthday today, Ali.
No.
But a milestone for Cyndi Lauper. Inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Along with some other people who I'm not interested in. But I was interested in Cyndi Lauper because, you know, she is a spectacular talent. A bit different, that's what I like.
I wouldn't disagree with that. What was the one? I loved her singing the Roy Orbison one. I drove all night.
Yeah, yeah, fantastic.
Very good.
So brilliant, and congratulations to Cyndi Lauper. Alan, the electrician who's waiting for his son in the van, says Jeff Stilling's talking complete rubbish. It's not the first time, Alan, is it? About managers, Bill Shankly, Matt Busby, Bob Paisley, Brian Clough, Alex Ferguson, all the legends. Yep, Pep is good, but let's not get too carried away. Look, they're all great names, Alan. I said it's really difficult to compare names from different generations, you know, going back as far as Matt Busby and Bill Shankly.
Brilliant.
I mean, a sensation.
Jock
but
Stein.
managing then Jock Stein, a completely different occupation than it is now, I would suggest to you. Jill's been texting and said, greatest of all time. She said, build 2 teams from scratch, win league championship. Please, Jeff. Pep's up there, but Sir Alex is the greatest. I rest my case.
You surprised me, Jill.
Big Manchester United fan. JF said, how can people say Pep's the greatest? Tony Pulis will be equally successful at the clubs he's managed. Try Pep in the championship with minimum funds, then start talking about him. Yeah, but, you know, that's never going to happen, is it? So you have to take a little dose of reality. Said, guys, Patrick says, guys, look at Pep's win rate, 72% from 1,000 games, phenomenal. Sir Alex, 65%. We're privileged to have witnessed it here at Manchester City. Look, I knew it would cause a debate. And it's a debate where there is no right answer.
No right or wrong.
And there's
whatsoever.
no wrong answer either. Right, it is, 6:21. Let's take a look at today's back pages with Tesco Mobile for Business.
Back page review on talkSPORT with Tesco Mobile for Business. This November, sign up to get a £60 welcome bonus. Offer ends 1st of December. Terms and verification at tescomobile.com/business.
Now, I didn't watch the Saturday night's 8 o'clock game. Ali didn't watch the Saturday night 8 o'clock game, but I know somebody who did.
Jeff, I actually watched the 12:30 I got an app through Premier League Production, so I could watch at 3 o'clock. Then I watched the 5:30, and then I watched the 8 o'clock.
Too much.
And it was the perfect day. I was on a weekend away, so it's a big house, all my family, all of the other adults were off doing other things. So I was like, I'm going to sit in front of the TV.
Sorry, all of the adults.
Yeah,
You're not an adult then, no.
I don't,
Okay.
No, in the like, you got the parents there, so no matter how old the kids
higher
are, we'll always be the kids.
Right.
No matter how old you are. But I had a lovely weekend.
Yeah.
Can I ask you what game, at what point did you have your first glass of wine?
Oh, see, we had a few the night before. So, yeah, we all had a bit of a late one the night before.
Yes.
So Saturday was pretty chill. I waited until the 5:30.
Oh, I love
which
it.
I thought was quite a long time. I was a little bit hungover, to be honest.
Respectful.
Saturday morning.
Yeah.
But sadly, we're not here to talk about my antics on my weekend away.
But I'm just going to hazard a guess, though, that Chelsea Wolves is not over the back pages this morning.
Should be, Jeff.
No, it shouldn't.
No, I'm joking. It shouldn't be. It absolutely shouldn't be. But there are a couple of stories, big stories that are. I'm going to start in F1 on the back page of the Star. Lando's roaring to glory. Took the Formula One title race by the scruff of the neck. He now leads McLaren teammate Oscar Piastri by 24 points with just 3 races to play. 83 points up for grabs there. The same on the back page of the Daily Mail as well. Lando edges closer to F1 crown with win in Brazil. A back page on the Sun, obviously it's the international break, so we like to talk about Thomas Tuchel in England. Thomas Tuchel, woe as 3 Lions are out. Mark Gay, Anthony Gordon and Nick Pope.
Doesn't matter. We qualified. What does it matter? Doesn't matter.
It's not the point, Jeff.
Of course it is.
Yeah, but Tuchel probably wants to have, these are our last competitive games. I know we've obviously qualified, but this is one of the last chances to take a look. Mark Gay is one of the players that
look at some alternatives. Mark Gay is going to be playing for England in the next World Cup, and he's going to be starting.
Yeah.
So we don't need to see Mark Gay.
Who would you call up instead? Because I was actually thinking, John Stones, Ezri Konsa are the 2 that are there.
Yeah.
Dan Burns already been called up. He can play centre back, but will he replace Mark Gahey and with who? Harry Maguire?
Doesn't look like he fancies Maguire, does it?
So who then, though? Because it's quite a good... Don't know if that's a good question. Anyway, I'll let you two think on that. But obviously also dominating the back pages is Manchester City's win over Liverpool. On the back page of the Mirror, they think it's all over. But let's focus on the Liverpool aspect of things. Do you not like that one, Jeff?
No.
Oh, I quite like that. You not like that? Think it's it's not over, but I quite like the whole bit. No, you didn't, Ali? Okay. And on the back page of the Times, a Slot saying, the title is the last thing on my mind. I suppose, Ali, what is the thing on Slot's mind? Just turning Liverpool's form around?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what can we say? They were excellent against Real Madrid. They were better against Aston Villa. But prior to that, going through a real poor patch. And yesterday, I mean, I know goals change games, and we can talk about the disallowed goal, which in my opinion should have stood, but that would be glossing it over because they were well beaten in just about every department. That would be the concerning thing. There wasn't really any period during the game where you thought they were in it. They looked, like you were saying, Crystal Palace looked a little bit. I thought Liverpool looked a little bit tired and off it.
Look, miles off it.
Yeah.
And when Arnie says afterwards that the second half performance was better, well, doesn't matter because you've lost the game.
Game's finished.
All City are doing then is just wanting to contain a bit, Yeah. It's always Mercer was used to say to me, teams who play when they're 2-0 down, it's easy to play when you're 2-0 down. The game's gone. So
I just think, looking at them, I thought they would be better when Gravenberch come back, but I mean, it's all over the pitch. Kanate doesn't look... The goalkeeper as well, clearly. I don't think so.
He's no Alisson, is he? Not at the moment, anyway.
No, he's not. Well, he's not.
I don't think anyone is Alisson.
Not the same quality. Kanate would be a concern. It's amazing. The one player they look as though they're missing is Gay, the one that they've got in the...
Yeah.
He's the one they look as though they're really missing. McAllister's come back in. He's been out, in and out. There's been no real level of consistency. Even at the start of the season, Jeff Oliver, when they were winning games, I don't think they were winning them convincingly.
They weren't playing well, were
they? They were scoring late goals. Yeah. So, there's problems there.
And look, we will obviously talk about the new signings. I mean, Florian Wirtz looked like a little boy lost yesterday. No, I get it. But one thing that had me completely scratching my head is you're losing 2-0 as you at the time. And Ekateki's been one of the few successes this season. Look, he hasn't had a kick.
Yeah.
He hasn't had a kick, and I get that. But there were plenty of them who hadn't had a kick. But you're chasing a game, and you take your striker off, and I did not understand that.
I was at the stage of taking any of them off, Jeff. I really was. I just thought I couldn't see, drastic times call for drastic measures, and it was a drastic measure. I'm with you. I mean, he would have been the one I'd taken off, but I think at that point, dear me, I don't think any of them would really have a complaint.
No.
From that side. They just look devoid of any... A spirit's not the right word, but energy.
Yeah.
Energy would be the kind of word I would lose that they look as though they're lacking at this moment in time.
Well, lost the last 4 away Premier League games. What's the first time since 2012?
Yeah.
And it's not like they're getting unlucky,
Oh, no. No, and it's amazing. Well, the same happened last year, didn't it? The same happened last year with Manchester City. Manchester City went on that run where you wouldn't have believed it was humanly possible for them to go on that run, but they did. And then they rallied. I think they finished third or whatever it was. I mean, Liverpool, they genuinely have to sort themselves out in the next couple of games, or it's away, or the title's away.
I think the title's away now, don't you?
Well, I don't think. I don't think. Oh.
Can't see Arsenal dropping that many points in Liverpool.
You can't. But I mean, I think this year, and I think there are teams more capable of taking points off your Arsenal's, your Manchester City's, your Liverpool's. That's the one thing I think they haven't. Do I think they'll win it? No, I don't. But I think that's the one thing they've got, and they're going their way. Maybe not so much in previous years. But
just finally,
go on.
They've got Forest at home,
Yeah.
PSV at home in the Champions League, and then West Ham away.
Yeah.
So I think those 3 fixtures are probably 3 more favourable fixtures for Liverpool.
I'd agree, they're more favourable
to maybe turn this around.
it's easy for us.
Except the Forest are turning things round.
But
Forest actually beat them at Anfield last season as well.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. But I do take your point.
Thanks, Olivia.
Thanks.
And that was a look at today's back pages with Tesco Mobile for Business. Trigger from Ledbury says, morning, lads. Daniel Farker back to Norwich. Brendan Rodgers to Leeds. Watch this space. Well, everything is possible. Coming up, we'll ask the question, are things beginning to get a bit stale for Eddie Howe at Newcastle? That's next.
Backpage review on talkSPORT with Tesco Mobile for Business. This November, sign up to get a £60 welcome bonus. Offer ends 1st of December. Terms and verification at tescomobile.com/business.
Every spring, sports fans in Europe come together to celebrate arguably rugby's biggest annual tournament, the Six Nations. But why is it the home nations, plus France and Italy, and no one else? It all started back in 1871 when Scotland beat England in the very first international rugby match. A few years later, when they could field a team, Wales decided they'd host England and an idea was thought up. With Ireland keen, they formed the Home International Championship, which ran from 1883. In 1910, France was allowed to join, as they were developing into a serious rugby nation, and thus the Five Nations was born. France had an interesting history with the championship. They were actually booted out for paying their players in 1931, when the home nations were keen to keep it amateur. After World War II, though, France were let back in, but it remained a closed shop for more than 50 years. And when another country was let in, it was only really because the Five Nations hand had been forced. Italy was developing into a serious contender, beating Scotland, France and Ireland twice in the same year, meaning in 1999 officials got together and said yes to Italy, and it became the Six Nations. So what changes, if any, come next? 7 nations? 8? A promotion and relegation system? Or should we leave it alone and let it remain the great rugby tradition it's become?
Good morning, it's 6:35. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist, and our good friends at Arnold Clark. Get £750 off any used electric car or home charger. Mickey's text said, when you talk about different eras for the best manager, you also have to take into account in the 60s, 70s and 80s there were restrictions on substitutions and smaller squad sizes. Mickey, you're spot on. So did that make it easier or more difficult? That would be my question about that. Darren's been on.
That's a great question.
Yeah, it is, yeah. I mean...
Well, it's got...
Because you got what you've got then, and the opposition have got what they've got then.
I would say it made it... I think it's easier now, particularly if you've got a lot of money, because you can have a squad that there's no tomorrow. So I'm seeing that look for you. Well, I'm thinking, if you're top and your club's get plenty of money, it's got to be easier.
I'm not sure because, you know, the great Liverpool teams who won the league, and they won leagues with 15, 12, 13, 14 players, you know, so the manager knew week after week after week what his starting lineup was going to be. He didn't have the option of making 5 substitutions to try and change the game during the course of the game. Yeah,
so the argument would be it's very much the same. Doesn't make it easier or harder because everybody's in the same boat.
Yeah, it goes back to the old thing. It's impossible to compare generations,
isn't it?
Just impossible.
Isn't it just?
Darren says, Monday morning Ministry of Misery is moaning about the late kick-off on Saturday, and Captain Giggles is back giggling. I wouldn't change it. Morning, Darren. He says, cheer up, Jeff. Hey, Darren. Wait till I get started on Christmas ads. Then I will definitely be the Minister of Misery. But that's for a bit later. Right now, let's have a bit of this.
Get in the ring to win on talkSPORT.
We've got a new prize up for grabs, and it's a knockout. Who wrote this?
Oh, who do you think? I mean, who do you think? I don't think it was Ed. Oh, Ed's nodding his head. Don't think it was Ed, though. We're giving you the chance to win 2 tickets to the highly anticipated rematch between Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn, and that next week at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. That's Saturday, the 15th of November.
The prize includes a one-night stay at a 5-star hotel in London, plus £5,000 spending money to make it an unforgettable weekend. So listen up, here's how to enter.
18 plus, UK excluding Northern Ireland. For a chance to win, text the word BOX to 83338 and you're in the draw. Text costs £2 plus one standard network rate message. You must have the bill payer's permission, or you can enter for free by calling 0330 880 3338. All entries must be received by the 13th of November at 1 p.m. and you need to answer our call to win. This is a talkSPORT limited promotion. Full terms and conditions at talksport.com.
Yeah, and the very best of luck to you. Neil says, try Bob Paisley, 9 years, won 6 leagues, 3 European Cups, 1 UEFA Cup. Neil, I can't argue with you. Brilliant, yeah. And by the way, what a lovely bloke he was.
Yeah.
Fantastic bloke. Now, Newcastle's 3-1 defeat to Brentford has left them just 2 points above the bottom 3. Eddie Howe told talkSPORT, not surprisingly, it's not good enough.
Yeah, we are concerned. We're not happy where we are. There's a frustration and lots of negative emotions associated with it, anger, etc. But we're the only ones that can change it. So we've got to use that and harness it in the right way. Make sure that we work smart in the next 2 weeks. And as I say, make sure we're unified. That's the most important thing.
Well, you'd never have anticipated that Newcastle would have this sort of start to the season, would you? Particularly their away form. I mean, not one away from home, 3 away goals.
Would we have anticipated Brentford doing this start of the season?
No, I mean, and that's one thing we should say.
100%.
Brentford, brilliant under Keith Andrews.
Yep.
And Thiago. He has to wait 5.5 minutes to take that penalty.
I know.
You know.
See, I like him.
Cool.
What to say?
Oh.
I mean, if you don't mind, I'm just going to start on Brentford.
Yeah.
Particularly at home. I mean, they look right up for it, you know, full energy. Another one for Shada's goal comes for the long throw, which is just an absolute nightmare to defend against. We've spoken about it before. So, yeah, Newcastle, yeah, slightly concerning, definitely. Yeah. I think he's well within his rights to be concerned, so he should be. But flip side of the coin, Brentford, very impressive. Keith Andrews, you know, continued success to him. He's doing really well.
Yeah, he's done fantastically. There's no question about that. From a Newcastle perspective, I mean, do we put this all down to the fact that they haven't got the squad to cope with European
I think some
nights,
of it. I'm not sure all of it.
In the Premier League?
But I'm thinking some of it. I mean, I watched the highlights of that one last night late. Was it a penalty, Dan Burn, at the end? I can't remember when he gets sent off it.
No, I don't think it was.
I don't think it was either.
But clearly, he should have been had a penalty awarded against him just before.
Correct. Yeah, yeah, I get that. Well, you know, I mean, it started, the big centre forward looked okay when he first came in, started scoring goals, and then, but they've dipped. But again, it's a little bit like Liverpool. It's not one specific area. And I think some of the games, there certainly looks a fatigue about Newcastle as well. You know, a lack of real energy. I mean, at home, that's the one thing you won't get because the fans won't allow it. And the fans, you know, generate an atmosphere where everybody is absolutely bang at it in normal circumstances. But it would be a problem for Eddie.
Does Eddie take any of the blame? I mean, he's
got to.
In the papers, he says, you know, I take the blame. Is that right?
Yeah, I think he's got to. Because that's where the buck stops. I don't think there's any doubt about that. He's a head coach, he's a manager, so that's where, you know, you can look at reasons for it happening. You know, whether it's a lack of goals or defensively not, you know, or errors, whatever it may be. But the bottom line is the buck stops with the manager, so he has to take responsibility. But I mean, I wouldn't be pressing any panic buttons, that's for sure. I mean, I think Eddie's a great manager, a great coach, and I think he'll continue to do that. And he's still taking Newcastle, I think, massively forward.
Oh, there was no question about that.
No doubt
where they were when he took over the bottom of the table.
I mean, you're talking. He's winning trophies, Champions League football.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's no questioning that side of what Eddie Howe has achieved. What I'm worried about is, I'm not going to suggest they're going to go down because they're not. But, you know, 2 points off the relegation zone. They got Man City at home next. And then with their away form, their next Premier League game after that is away at Everton, which they're not going to find easy either.
No, Everton.
So, I mean, things might get worse before they get better, in other words.
I take your point. I just think the league's really unpredictable at this moment in time. You know, it wouldn't surprise you, them getting results. So, you know, there's foreign teams, Arsenal, Sunderland, City, certainly foreign teams, but the rest of it, it's kind of much of a muchness. We mentioned Forest, you know, Forest are a poor start. They've had a couple of victories, turned the corner a little bit. That was a big one for them at the weekend. Leeds can't seem to pick up points. West Ham are I just think it's going to be one of those seasons where it's going to be a lot of twists and turns.
Yeah. I mean, Newcastle fans must find it hard looking up that table at Sunderland at the moment.
Oh, how well
that is for sure, and how well they do. I mean, what would be acceptable for Newcastle this season then?
I think the fans would accept. Well, there you are. I'll stick my neck out and say 7th, 8th, and a good run in Europe.
Right.
And I think that's acceptable.
Is it achievable?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think it's achievable. But that squad and those players, I think that...
I worry about their squad. I worry about their squad.
I think it's stronger than last year. No?
I'm not sure. I mean, what you mentioned Voltemada. What I think I think he's a good player, but I think he is already finding the intensity of the Premier League, coupled with Champions League nights, maybe is a bit much, you know. And we are very early in the season.
I know. I hear you, but and I take the point. I definitely think they've got a stronger squad than they had last season. Although I do take your point. They haven't showed it yet.
Yeah.
That would be they obviously lose the centre forward. That goes without saying. But I think they bring another centre forward, Alanga, one or two others. I think they're stronger, but I don't think they've showed it yet.
I think they need Lewis Hall to be fit enough to be starting again. They need Livramento to be fit enough to be starting.
But I've got a few.
Again, you know, they've got a few injuries,
Yeah.
And so, look, I mean, they're not going to be in the relegation battle. That is for sure. But nevertheless, these are sort of slightly concerning times. James has texted, Jeff Alley, Sir Alex managed the club from top to bottom for 25 years. That's the difference. So James, without sounding like a record that's stuck, said, Sir Alex managed the club from top to bottom for 25 years. Did that make it easier or more difficult? You know, I mean...
Your answer, James.
Anyway.
But no, I take your point. I do take your point.
Yeah. Look, as I say, it's an unanswerable question. I get that completely, but brilliant achievements from Pep. Absolutely wonderful. Right, still to come on breakfast.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Download the new improved app to easily manage your accounts and quotes.
Liverpool fans, give us a call now, 03717 223344. What do you make of your title defence? Please keep it clean. Arnie Slot told TV, it's not realistic to think about winning the league at this point. Did you envisage that being the case this early in the season after the amount of money you'd spent during the transfer window? And generally speaking, people praised the way you'd gone about doing your business early in that transfer window and the names that you'd brought in, but so far, not working out. Much happier weekend across the city with Everton winning again at the Hill Dickinson. We'll be joined live at 9:15 by their manager, David Moyes. And that was our look ahead with Travis Perkins.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Get free next day track delivery. Head to travisperkins.co.uk or download the app.
Good morning, 10 minutes away from 7 o'clock this Monday morning. It is November the 10th. Oh, my goodness.
What's happened?
Coisty. November the 10th. So by my rough calculations, 30th of April to November. So 20 days of November still to come. And then 24 before we get to Christmas. Yes, 44 days of bloomin' Christmas adverts. I can't bear to watch TV because every commercial break, you know, we've got... Coca-Cola lorries. I hope one of them gets a flat tyre, you know? Or,
however...
What's the carrot called?
I love that.
I know. I want him to be chopped into pieces.
No.
Oh,
you must like it one.
Dawn French breaking down on the motorway. No. Stop.
I quite like a John Lewis one. Is that the one with the old fella gets LP, the album?
Honestly, mate.
I mean, you're right. It's too early.
It's too early.
Christmas trees. Ed, stop it. Nothing till the 1st of December.
And if you all the Christmas adverts, the place is always covered in snow. When was the last time it snowed at Christmas? Hey, come on.
We get a bit of snow. We do.
You do.
Up the road, a wee bit.
A little bit.
A little bit. Not massively.
But Christmas, honestly, we've got 44 more days where every commercial break will be full of the same Christmas adverts.
I used to be Santa Claus at the nursery. I loved it, man.
You got the grey beard for it.
I don't mind telling you. Me nursery in Kilmacombe every Christmas. Oh man, I loved it. First couple of times I used to have to put a pillow under my jacket, and then I didn't need to after that.
By the way, 44 days before Christmas. Perfect, it's no problem, because our sister network, Virgin Radio, have launched Virgin Radio Christmas. So it's the right time, obviously. Hear the Chris Evans Breakfast Show and then non-stop Christmas songs all day. Oh, marvellous. It's available by swiping over on the talkSPORT app on DAB in London, or ask your smart speaker to play Virgin Radio Christmas. James says, Sir Alex again managed the full club. I see Pep more as a coach. Sir Alex more of a man manager. Yep, I completely get that as well, James. Yeah. Right, Olivia's back with us. Hi, Olivia.
Hello, Jeff. When are your Christmas decorations going up then?
Sometime in the middle of December.
Yeah. 1st of December, I think is acceptable.
I must admit,
Christmas adverts should not be allowed until the 1st of December.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
I'm with you. And Christmas trees should not be allowed until the 1st of December.
Yeah.
When do they come down?
12 days after it. On the 12th day of Christmas.
I was never come. We've got 2 Christmas trees growing in pots outside the house.
Have you?
Yeah.
Do you know what?
Because they had roots, so, why just get rid of them?
Yeah.
And they're thriving,
I must admit,
we're going to offer one to Trafalgar Square next year.
Where did I get it from? There's a question for you.
Oh, what, the Christmas tree?
Norway.
Yes.
No.
Yes. Just on it, while we're on it, I do love a good Christmas tree.
Do you? A good real Christmas tree?
Oh, got to be real. None of that. See, up in the loft, no, out the back door. New Christmas tree.
Oh, it's everywhere though, doesn't it?
It's got to be. It doesn't matter. It's got to be real. Imitation Christmas trees are absolutely a no-go.
Not on.
I'll send you a picture of my mum's, because my mum's is fake, but it looks real. It's great. I'll send you a picture and you can judge it.
But it's not real.
I shouldn't have told you that, actually.
It's not real.
Should have been like, look at this real Christmas tree.
You know what? It might look like it. It doesn't smell like it.
It doesn't.
The smell of pine is absolutely fantastic.
Okay, should we move on?
Which just goes to show I don't moan about everything.
Yeah.
Christmas adverts, imitation Christmas trees, but the smell of a real Christmas tree.
There we go. There we go. Will it be a good Christmas for Aston Villa? It looks like it. Back in good form, won 5 of their last 6 in the Premier League. But Unai Emery did confirm not so long ago that Emiliano Martinez has been stripped of Villa's vice captaincy, with Ezri Konsa to wear the armband when John McGinn is absent. Now, the reports are suggesting, they're unsure that what it's got to do with, if it's got to do with the summer, but it must have been to do with the failed move to Manchester United, because otherwise, why would Emiliano Martinez be stripped of the vice captaincy?
You don't strip somebody of a captaincy or a vice captaincy unless there's a problem or unless he's asked to be relieved of that duty. Now, the fact that he hasn't been asked to relieve himself of the duty would indicate something's happened. Now, you don't need to be quarrel to work that one out. What's happened? I don't know. Has it been any more than the ongoings in the summer? Potentially. But I tell you what, he had a couple of great saves at the weekend.
Yeah, he did. How upset do you think he'd be by being stripped of the vice captaincy?
I've got to say, there's never been a man that will be less upset.
Exactly. Exactly.
Do you know something? I'll take it a step further. I'll bet he won't even notice it.
He probably didn't even know he was vice.
What does the vice captain do anyway?
Yeah.
And he was excellent at the weekend.
Brilliant.
Absolutely
great
excellent.
Saves at the weekend.
Good penalty save, a couple of other great saves as well. And it's great that Villa are doing so well, because at the start, not so much at the start of the season, but we were concerned, weren't we?
Yeah.
They had that wobble, weren't coping with European football, didn't have much of a squad, weren't scoring goals.
And I know they're on a great run, and long may that continue. Yeah. But I'm still a wee bit concerned.
Yeah, let's not get carried away. Yeah.
Back on Emiliano Martinez then, because he strikes me as the sort of guy that is a leader regardless for Argentina as
you
well.
Want him in your team.
Yeah, even when he hasn't got the armband, I, like you say, Jeff, not sure he probably cares too much about that. Where do you see his future? Because obviously Manchester United have now sorted out potentially their goalkeeper issues. You look at all the other clubs. Do you see Emiliano Martinez staying at Villa long term if Unai Emery is the manager? Because he has proved that, he's still one of Villa's most important players.
Of course he is, yeah. And I think from Villa's point of view, you want him to stay. Of course you do, because he's certainly one of the better goalkeepers, the best goalkeepers in the league. If he did leave Villa, you'd have to suggest, looking at the top flight in England right now, it might be out of the country. He might go somewhere in another country, because I think the majority of top clubs now, you mentioned Manchester United, and he looks all right. I'll tell you right now, got my first look at him live at the weekend, and he looks okay.
He was excellent. Made 2 quick fire saves in the second half, which were key in the game.
Absolutely, made a couple of great saves. So in answer to your question, I think Villa would do everything they can to keep a hold of him. Certainly, he's one of these players mentioned a bit before. If you're in a back four, or even anywhere in that team, you look back and you see him in goals, you're nodding your head saying we're okay in that department.
Yeah. which is great. So they've got a bit of solidity at the back and going forward. They've got players who can cope with the burden of playing for Manchester United. And Brian Mboma, I think, has just been fantastic for them. Matheus Cunha, a bit more in and out, but nevertheless, he's clearly got the ability. Yeah,
that's my point. You look at those lads previously, whether it's Anthony, whether it's Hoyland, boys like that. You know, with a great respect, I don't think they've really looked as though they've handled the situation and been able to play at Manchester United. Those two do.
But never mind the football. Trevor in Southampton says, morning, Jeff and Ali. My local Sainsbury's in Shirley had its Christmas tree up in October. And I've got another one here.
That's ridiculous.
This is anonymous. I'll be round to your door otherwise. Jeff, not sure if kids do Christmas carols anymore, but God help them if they knock on your door. and one for you, Coisty. He said, Ali just ruined Christmas for any young listener tuning in from Kilmacombe by telling them he was Santa.
That was purely because the original Santa couldn't make it. And they thought I was the perfect fit. Yeah, that was the only reason.
Yeah, lots of texts about the greatest ever managers, and one that actually lost it now, but it's in here. But Kenny Dalglish. There we go. Yeah. It's from Darren, actually, again. Best managers, King Kenny and Sir Alex, considering what he did at Aberdeen and what Kenny did at Blackburn as well. And on the Newcastle topic, one thing, you're absolutely right. Rossi's texted and said, you know, you're both forgetting Wissa injured for Newcastle. Yeah. And he's dead right.
That's why I think they've got a better squad. I really do. But I do accept that they haven't shown it yet.
Yeah. Olivia, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Coming up with here from Arnie Slot. You're going now.
Yeah, this is me done for the morning.
Strange.
Not back tomorrow. Producer Ollie, not me. I'm not going to complain though.
Early finish for you, is it?
Early start, early finish. I'm back on Thursday. So
I think I'll go as well. Who said good? Coming up, we hear from Arnie Slot after that damaging loss to City. What are Liverpool's expectations for the season now? We'll discuss that because Slot's not even considering the title anymore.
Yeah, but I think at this moment of time, the last thing we should do is talk about what you're talking about. We lost too many games.
Life after football. For a lot of players, it means going into punditry. Some turn to coaching or working in the game in other ways. But what about the rest? Some former footballers turn their sights away from the game, and there are a few big surprises. First up, from rainbow flicks to pancake flips. Ex-Chelsea and Southampton defender Ken Monku switched up his footballing career to buy a Dutch pancake house. He bought out the shop, which had been his favourite pancake spot as a child, and before long he was mixing the batter and getting behind the stove. Next, Everton legend Thomas Gravesen swapped out the high stakes of the Premier League for those of the poker room. He made over 150 appearances for the Toffees and won the Scottish Premier League with Celtic. Turned out the Danish international was pretty darn good at poker. He racked up a reported £100 million from his Las Vegas adventures. Remember former Chelsea goalkeeper Petr Cech? Turns out football nets weren't the only goals he was pretty handy in front of. After retirement, he became a goaltender in ice hockey. Same skills, very different surface. And he even won a Division 2 title with Guildford Phoenix. For ex-Liverpool centre-back Daniel Agger, it wasn't just fancy footwork that was in his blood. He was also pretty good with his hands. The Denmark international turned to tattoo artistry after he hung up his boots. He'd qualified as a skin artist while at Anfield, and he then became the co-owner of his own tattoo company as well. It's not all glamour for ex-pros, though. 1966 World Cup winner Ray Wilson set up a very different kind of business. He became an undertaker after he retired. Finally, not many people can say they've won both a World Cup and starred in an Oscar-winning film. In fact, there's only one person in the entire world who can say that. Frank Leboeuf, the former Chelsea defender, was part of the 1998 France squad who won the World Cup. He ended up marking Brazil's Ronaldo in the final and helped his side to a 3-0 win. But Leboeuf had already begun acting on the side while he was playing football, and his biggest role came some years after his retirement when he landed the part of a doctor in the Stephen Hawking biopic The Theory of Everything.
I embrace the career of acting, so I want to learn more. So seeing lots of movies is a part of my job.
To be honest, with all the dramatic diving in the game these days, there's probably tons of ex-pros who've got the acting skills to make it in Hollywood.
Good morning. It's 6 minutes past 7 o'clock. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist, and Arnold Clark at the UK's best used car deals. Guaranteed. We were talking about Christmas decorations. PJ in Kings Lynn said, Jeff, we went to our local, the Maid's Head in Kings Lynn yesterday to watch the 5:30 match. We had to put up the bloody... they'd put up the bloody Christmas decorations, including a fully lit tree. I had to turn the flashing lights of the tree off because it was interfering with the game. Fantastic. Lots of opinions, by the way, about the greatest manager of all time. Look, it's impossible. There's no right and no wrong. Yeah, I got one here. Greatest manager. Pep had it all handed to him on a plate. A dominant Barca team in a 2-team league with Messi. A couple of seasons at Bayern in a 1-team league with Lewandowski. Couldn't win the Champions League. Then City brought in the entire back office team from Barca to lay the groundwork for him. He never had to break the mould like Fergie did in Scotland or win a treble with Milan like Jose Mourinho. And it's anonymous, but it's a great point.
Yeah. And I would echo the point. Fergie beating Real Madrid with Aberdeen in a European. Yeah. I think, here's a statement for you. I think Aberdeen are the last team to beat Real Madrid in the European final. There you are.
Wow.
somebody will tell me I'm wrong, and they might, but I think Aberdeen are the last team to beat Real Madrid in the European final.
Yeah. I was talking to Gordon Strachan about, playing with Sir Alex, and great line he said. He said his methods wouldn't pass the Geneva Convention. Which you can't do now, which is sort of the point,
I need to tell you my wee Gordon story. Brilliant, Jeff, right? So, years ago, I've just come down here and we started to do a wee Scottish football show, right? And we're, getting a wee Monday night job and they're trying to get me going to see how I enjoy it, hosting it and stuff like that. So, with wee Gordon coming in the following week, and it was my second week, so the producer said to me at the start of the segment, he said, Ali, he says, enjoyed last week. He says, you were good. He says, I'm glad you enjoyed it. He says, but, try and get a wee bit more upbeat. Try and be a wee bit more livelier, just keep it going, right? So wee Gordon came in and he sat down over there, and it's the second show, and the boy went, bum, we got Scottish football, Ali, here are you. And I went, oh, good afternoon. I said, here we go. I said, blah, blah, blah. We've got the Scottish football, Rangers, Celtic, Aberdeen, Dundee United, this, that, the next thing. I says, what a week it's been for the SFA. We've got all the stories covered. And I've laid it on thick for about a minute and a half, right? And I've turned around, and Gordon, I've not even introduced him. He looks at me and goes, are you going to talk like that all night? He says, because if you are, I'm leaving. Right. Oh, the wee man's different class.
Oh, Gordon's absolutely fantastic. He is great company, and he's got a fantastic, wicked sense of humour.
Wicked's a word, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wicked's a word.
If you're listening, Gordon, morning to you, mate. Now we're reflecting on Man City 3, Liverpool 0. Top-notch performance from Pep Guardiola's team in his 1,000th game as a manager. But for Arnie Slot, 5th league defeat of the season. Unbelievable, really.
Yeah.
For the stuttering champions. He began his interview with Alex Crook by discussing Virgil van Dijk's disallowed goal at 1-0.
Immediately when I went inside after the game, people showed me a moment last season where City played away at Wolves, where City scored a goal, where I think it was Bernardo Silva who was ducking, and they allowed that goal. The V.A.R. said, come and take a look. Same referee, by the way, Chris Kavanagh, come and take a look. And he went to the screen, did take a look, and said the goalie could see the ball. There's no reason to disallow this goal, so it should be allowed. And I don't think the linesman should have raised his flag, or maybe he did this because the referee told him to, but then Michael Oliver should have always overturned that decision, which he didn't do. And let me leave my comments by that.
How do you assess the overall picture now? 8 points behind Arsenal, 5 defeats. I've been looking back historically, 5 or 6 defeats is the most you can have and go on and win the title.
Yeah, but I think at this moment of time, the last thing we should do is talk about what you're talking about. We lost too many games. This week started off really well with 2 good wins. And we have to take that into the period after the international break, where I prefer to judge the league table. I said this last season as well, so I say this one more time. After 19 games, of course we all look at it after 38 games, but 19 gives maybe a bit better impression than 5, 6, 7, 11. But it's clear that we have to improve, and that's not new to me. It isn't as if after the last 2 wins I thought all the things we had to improve are gone. No, there's still a lot to improve, and that's what we're going to try to do after the international break.
Don't look at the league table after 19 games, but I would hazard a guess, the cynic in me tells me, if they were top of the table, he'd be looking after 11 games.
I take the point. I mean, I think it's an obvious thing to say, but you got a better idea at the turn of the year. Definitely a better idea at the turn of the year, a Christmas period.
But you do get an idea now, surely.
Yeah, but there's clearly a lot more possibilities for it to change. You know what I mean? Still, I think, right away you would think there has to be an improvement in Liverpool, there has to be an improvement in Newcastle. I would think straight away there are teams that cannot continue in the form that they're in at this moment in time. So I just think, I know, of course, absolutely, I take your point, but I just think after the new year, you got a far better idea.
Yeah, look, I predict Liverpool will win the title again this season. I think it's gone already from them. Let's have a chat with our chief football correspondent, Alex Crook, who was at the Etihad for us yesterday. He joins us now. Morning, Crook.
Morning, Crookie.
Good morning, boys.
They do look miles off it, though, mate.
They do. I've got to say I was shocked by their performance, particularly in that first half. As Arne Slot himself said there, they had a good week in the build-up to the game, clean sheet and 3 points at home to Villa. Really good performance against Real Madrid, and you expected them to kick on Liverpool, but they were second best, almost right from the first minute. I thought Jeremy Doku was outstanding, really set the tone for Manchester City. Erling Haaland misses that penalty, but you can't keep a great striker down, and he responded with a terrific header. And to be fair to Arne Slot, he didn't make any excuses. I agree with him. I think Virgil van Dijk's goal probably should have stood, but I don't think it would have changed the outcome.
No.
Because I think City still had a couple more goals in them. And I'm with Jeff. I've been looking back through the recent record books. I think only twice in the last 15 years have a team lost more than 5 games in a Premier League season and gone on to win the title. That was Manchester City on both occasions. Blackburn hold the record back in 1995, 7 Premier League defeats. So they've got no margin for error, Liverpool. And on what we've seen over the opening few weeks of the season, do we really believe they can go 27 games unbeaten? I don't. I think the title has already gone.
Do you think, Crookie, there's an element here of this is a hangover from last season and people are finding it hard to go again? You know, Salah and Konate, Robertson, all miles off their best.
Do you know what, Jeff? I got a bit of stick for this, but I remember I was at the Cheltenham Festival in March and I put it out there when I was on air with Jim White and Troy Deeney that wasn't a great Liverpool team. They wouldn't be remembered as brilliant Premier League champions, that actually they were benefiting from circumstances. Manchester City had a massive drop-off. Arsenal were struggling to score goals. This is a stronger Premier League now. You look at how congested it is at the top end of the table. So I think to win the title this year, you really are going to have to be a class above. So I think there's an element of that. I think obviously they made a lot of changes over the course of the pre-season. Florian Wirtz was decent against Real Madrid in midweek. He was anonymous yesterday. Konate is really struggling. I've written a piece for the talkSPORT website actually saying that his performance was a case for not extending his contract when it expires in the summer. And answer me this, Ali. Alexander Isak, the most expensive player in the history of British football. I know he didn't train with Newcastle during pre-season, but how can you get yourself into a situation in 2025 when, you know, players are at the peak of physical fitness that he's not fit enough to come on when his team were chasing a game away from home against Manchester City? He was left on the bench. Yeah. I was astounded by that.
That's I've got to say that's absolutely bizarre, because the one thing you do, you know, if he comes to the club, Crookie, you say, right, I'm ruling him out for whatever it is, the first 2 or 3 weeks of the season, and I'm just going to work on his fitness so he's, you know, once he does get going, you know, he's off and running. No, I'm with you, mate. That was a strange decision. Obviously, with what you're saying there as well, I would take it that, and I'm probably thinking it myself, it must be a really bang average Real Madrid team as well then, because I thought Liverpool outclassed them in many ways during the week.
They did. But listen, it was a bang average Real Madrid team in the Champions League last season. So let's see how deep they go in the Champions League. Maybe in some ways that lulled Liverpool into a false sense of security. I think the Premier League is so strong this year, Ali. You look at the results for the English teams in Europe. I think we're going to get a lot of teams from the Premier League who are going deep into the Champions League. And really that emphasises what I was saying, that last season the Premier League probably wasn't the best we've ever seen. This year I think it's completely different.
And forgive me for banging on, but Real Madrid's performance at Anfield, that could have been down to the fact that they knew don't matter a jot whether they won or lost, because they'll still go through. Crookie, thanks very much indeed.
Thanks, Crookie. Have a good week, mate.
Text Jeff's house at Christmas, real tree, no decorations, no gravy. Watch out for the pigs in blankets. That's another story. We're not going there. Coming up, we turn our attention to the EFL and whether Rob Edwards is making the right decision by leaving Middlesbrough. Good morning, 7:20. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling and Ally McCoist. By the way, 1:30 Kempton today. Making its racecourse debut, Alan Brazil.
No way.
Yeah, runs in the 1:30 at Kempton.
I hope he's not on it.
Simon and Stone, I checked it out as
Seriously?
Yeah, 22 to 1 in the early betting, so rank outsider, but making its racecourse debut.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. By the way, just a quick one from Ash, the Newcastle fan. Morning, Jeff and Ali. I'm wondering, with Erling Haaland's penalty miss yesterday, if Ali is now thinking he's on a higher level than him after last week's statements.
I don't mind telling you, the stick I got last week, man, was absolutely outrageous. It was brilliant.
Brilliant.
Very good. Very good indeed.
Now, the latest episode of 21 Minutes to Go, the podcast with Andy Goldstein and Jason Cundy, is out. Now, it's the usual nonsense, including a painfully long section where the boys try to figure out the name of Jake Paul's well-known brother.
What's his name? Paul, not Jake Paul, the other one. What's his brother called?
Craig?
Craig Paul.
It's Craig Paul.
No. Let's not Google it. Let's try and work it out. Do you know the one I mean?
Yeah, of course.
Jake Paul
Jake and his brother Arthur. No, okay.
Right.
But Barry Paul or something.
Boris. I'm a Paul.
Jake Paul.
Is that his name? No, Jake Paul's the original one. Oh, Jake and... Paul brothers.
Jake and Crit. No, I want to say this end of the alphabet. Gary Paul.
we keep going back to Gary Paul.
If you fancy spending 21 minutes of your life listening to Andy and Jason, go and enjoy the 21 Minutes to Go podcast, now available on your favourite podcast provider. If you think I'm a Grinch when it comes to Christmas, listen to Craigo in Oxford. My controversial opinion on Christmas is I would ban all gifts for anybody over the age of 18. Presents are for children, not for grown adults to sit on the floor and unwrap. It's ridiculous.
Who's that from?
It's from Craig in Oxford.
Craig, you need to lighten up, mate. I love it, though.
Yeah, I've got some sympathy with you, Craig. No, I haven't. Not really. And now, time for a bit of this.
How can you not love the EFL when it throws up moments like this?
Here's Hawk! Deeney!
It's come back to Zamora!
Tick off again! Shea fans can't believe it. What a match!
Windass! Quite simply destined to be from Team Windass.
We're in London. We're in London, aren't we?
Leeds can beat you 4-1. They're a fantastic team. But we had someone in the bushes that day twice this season now.
No sirve para nada.
I didn't know we'd have such a reaction.
That ghosting Edwin in on Saturday. We didn't defend properly, you great chicken nuggets.
We hear that Jimmy Glass, the goalkeeper, has scored for Carlisle.
You just never know which twist any game is going to turn next.
Must I forever
Yeah, quite a week in the EFL, as it always is. We're going to talk about Rob Edwards a bit later, so we'll leave that for now. But a manager who lost his job at the weekend was Liam Manning, and I mentioned I was a bit sympathetic towards him. He's had a difficult time from a personal point of view. Did brilliantly at Bristol City. He's Norwich born. You know, you thought all the omens were there for him to succeed, but you can't survive 8 consecutive home defeats, 7 of those in the league, can you really?
No, yeah, unfortunately, those stats will only result in one thing.
Yeah.
And sadly, it's happened. It's just impossible. You can talk about coaches and managers. The only thing that they live and die by is results. It's simple as that.
Yeah.
You can talk about formations, you can talk about style of play, everything. You can talk about anything you want, but it's results.
I wonder about the recruitment there because, Johnny Rowe left for like £12.5 million. Borja Sainz, Marcelino Nunez left as well. And they brought in a lot of unproven replacements. So I think that would certainly be an excuse to a degree. Of course, they kept Josh Sargent, and a lot of people thought, well, that was key, but he hasn't scored in his last 11 games.
Do you think they'll go down?
I think it's a big ask to turn things around there.
Well, the fortunate thing from their point of view is I think there's only another 2 going down with Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah, I agree.
That's the one thing they've got going for them.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at the table just now, dear me. 9 points.
Yeah.
That's absolutely incredible. And obviously Sheffield United and around them Oxford, Port.
Well, the big thing for whoever comes in, and there's a big word for Russell Martin at the moment, of course, was club captain there for many years, and actually publicly said at the time that he'd love to come back one day and manage Norwich. Well, maybe this is his chance.
And it might, something that might be perfect for him.
Might be, yeah. And they play, in the next few weeks, they play Oxford, QPR, Sheffield United, Southampton and Watford. All in the bottom half of the division at the moment. So there's an opportunity for whoever comes in.
Got points.
Yeah, for sure.
Up at the top.
Yeah.
What about Coventry?
Yeah, a great result.
What a finish, by the way, Mason Clark. Last
great
5
result.
minutes, whatever it was.
What's caught my eye up at the top of the table, though, only because I wasn't expecting to see them there. Hull City won 5 of the last 7. Joe Gelhart's got 5 in 6. He's on loan from Leeds, where he scored 2 in 47.
It's amazing, that. I mean, that's absolutely...
Some Leeds fans are going to have their eyes on and thinking, why have we let him go on loan to Hull?
Incredible. Incredible.
But, yeah, brilliant for him. Tottenham goal scorers, that brings us to Cameron Burgess, who was playing for Swansea at the weekend against his old club Ipswich.
Unbelievable.
Spent 4 years there.
1 goal.
And he scored twice in his own net.
I saw him. I did have a great degree of sympathy for him, to be honest with you. But, what a nightmare for him.
Yeah. Did you see, by the way, Daniel Everson, the Preston goalkeeper?
No. Oh, I did. I'm lying, I did.
It's a goalkeeper of the week and probably
do you know something? We've all done it. We've all done it. And do you know when it normally happens? Right, I'll tell you when it normally happens, Jeff. See if you're maybe in a wider position, right? And you're going to put a cross in. That's when it normally happens. If you're going to cross it with your right foot, you'll just touch it with your left foot accidentally. Vice versa, if you're on a wing, if you're going to cross it with your left, just touch it with your right foot. It normally happens in a wider, doesn't happen a lot, but if it does happen, it normally happens in a wider position for a cross into the box. I looked at it and I thought, oh my.
You felt for him.
How well are they doing, Preston? With
they're doing fantastic. Preston and Millwall both going well.
Yeah.
As it happens, big win as well. You drop down a division for Jack Wilshere's Luton, 3-0 at top of the table, Stockport.
Yeah.
That's the way to announce yourself, isn't it? And by the way, Luke Williams, who not so long ago was working, I think, in Bristol Airport, he's now manager at Peterborough, won their first league game 5-0. 5-0.
And you won comfortably.
So that's brilliant. Couple of other lines. Tom Cleverley. We spoke to him a couple of weeks ago. I mean, lovely lad. He must be under massive pressure at Plymouth, who are now bottom of League One. They've lost 5 in a row. But, I looked at their fixtures.
Falling off a cliff, though.
Yeah, but their last 4 games in all competitions have all been away from home.
Yeah.
But would you believe it? The next 2 are away from home as well. They've got 6 consecutive away games.
How can that be?
I mean, there are cup games in there, as well. But even so, the head of recruitment's left, and I think Tom's made a point of saying, look, we recruited players from the bottom of League One and from League Two, and you sort of get what you pay for. But he's got an issue.
I think they're falling off a cliff, I really do.
Yeah. I just want to mention one more. Warren Burrell, won't have heard of him. He played at the weekend for Harrogate against Oldham, and he equalled the club's record appearances. It was his 447th appearance for Harrogate, who he joined in 2009, 16 years ago. So well done to you, Warren.
Isn't that fantastic?
Yeah, brilliant. They lost at home, as it happens, but hopefully it didn't spoil his day. So look at the EFLers this week. But we will be talking more at EFL after 9 o'clock. Ryan, a Sunderland fan, says, I've been listening for an hour this morning, and all we've spoken about really is the Liverpool City game. There were 18 other teams that played at the weekend too. Ryan. Coming next, we celebrate the brilliance of Sunderland and just how far this team can go this season.
What football ground are you thinking of when someone says this?
Really tough place to go. Difficult place to go. Such a tough place to go.
It's a tough place to go at the moment.
It was a really difficult place to go.
But what are the toughest places to go, really? We've had a look. Forget a cold, wet Tuesday night in Stoke. Try a blizzard 220 miles inside the Arctic Circle. When Chelsea lost at Tromsø in Norway in the Cup Winners' Cup, a massive snowstorm hit at half-time. These two boys and their brooms were absolutely no match for it. We're staying in Scandinavia for Scotland's toughest away day on the side of a cliff in the Faroe Islands in Euro 2000 qualifying. The pitch at Toftir was like a cowfield, never mind those gale force winds. The Faroe Islands part-timers equalised in stoppage time. Cue Scandi scenes. But away trips don't come tougher than playing Bolivia at altitude in La Paz. Or so we thought. The Bolivians have now taken home advantage to another level, literally 500 metres further up the Andes to the country's highest city, El Alto, 4,100 metres above sea level. Meanwhile, the loudest stadium in world football officially is the Ali Sami Yen, where Galatasaray fans set a world record of 131 decibels. That's louder than Motorhead. But our most intimidating away day is in Wales. Prison team HMP Prescoed was briefly kicked out the Gwent League over concerns about young opposition having to go in there. Now that's a tough place to go.
Good morning. It's 7:35. Jeff, no mention of Derby, says Eddie. We've won 5 on the bounce. John Eustace is doing a brilliant job. He's turned the club around from looking like we're heading back to League One. Carl Morris is scoring a lorry load of goals as well.
Being real.
Yeah, Eddie, you're absolutely right. And by the way, still in that division, Tiger Jeff says, morning, Jeff. Beginning of the season, you and Neil Warnock said you feared for teams like Hull City. Well, don't lose too much sleep. We're doing fine. And you are dead right.
Yeah.
I mean, and I did fear for them. I really did fear for them. But proving me absolutely wrong, having a brilliant run at the moment. Thomas Tuchel put to bed all talk of a potential rift. Well, some talk of a potential rift with Jude Bellingham to bed by recalling him to the England squad for the games against Serbia and Albania. Jamie Carragher was a special guest on the Sunday edition yesterday. God, he had a busy day, didn't he?
And a half.
And said there's no doubt Bellingham should be England's number 10.
Well, I think probably what we've got now in that number 10 position is probably better than probably any position we've ever had strength in, because Jude Bellingham is England's best player. He plays for Real Madrid. He's won the Champions League. I think Phil Foden was Player of the Year a year ago in the Premier League. And Cole Palmer, for me, in the last 2 or 3 years, what he's done has been one of the best players in Europe. You know, he scored in a World Club Championship final against Paris Saint-Germain, the best team in the world. He scored in a Euro final for England. How would you get those players in? But what I would say is, about Phil Foden, who I absolutely love, and I was delighted to see him back to his best.
He's completely split. Yeah, well, one thing I certainly agree with Cara about there is that Phil Foden is definitely back to his best. He's been absolutely
He was
brilliant.
nothing short of magnificent against Dortmund.
Yeah.
Nothing short of magnificent.
He has been fantastic, no doubt about that. Now, Saturday saw late drama on Wearside.
Substitute Brian Brobby came on for Sunderland, 93 minutes on the clock, and he's got in where it hurts. Dan Ballard, the Sunderland goal scorer, he's got the cross in for this one. Brobby threw himself forward and he's managed to steer the ball in the back of the net for the equaliser. Wonderful game. Arsenal, of course, stay top. Sunderland 2, Arsenal 2.
Well, talk about never say die as far as Sunderland are concerned. Brilliant late equaliser from Brian Bobby. And they stay up in the Premier League's top four. What a season it's been for them so far. Joining us for more on this now, former Sunderland star and coach Kevin Bourne. Morning, Kev.
Morning, Bolly. How are you, mate?
Very well, thank you. How are you both? All right?
Yeah,
top
really
form,
good, mate.
Top form.
Yeah, well, you must be loving it. I mean, I loved as a neutral watching the game at the weekend. But Sunderland's attitude is phenomenal, and nobody illustrates that more than Ballard, who is just had the most remarkable season.
I think the whole concept of what they're doing at the moment, the way they play as a team, how they work as hard as they do as a team, individually and collectively, is amazing. And Saturday's game was superb, to be honest with you. I mean, I lost my voice because I screamed. To be honest with you, when we equalised, I think there was a few expletives that probably shouldn't have been said, but I couldn't help it. I got so excited. It just gets right into you, even whether you're playing or supporting them. The emotion it gives you is brilliant.
Well, I was just looking at it, we're talking about the spirit there. I don't think there's anybody in the league scored more goals after 90 minutes. I mean, they absolutely keep going. I was at the Chelsea game down at the Bridge, and I thought they were excellent. I mean, the one thing I watched them, and it's the first time I'd seen them in a while, everybody knows their job. You know, as soon as they lose the ball, they drop back into a 5, difficult to beat, and then they expand when they've got the ball. They look really well drilled.
I have to say, the manager's done an unbelievable job, and he's got some great coaches around him as well. And it's nice to know whenever you see any of the players doing a report or an interview after a game, they're all aligned with exactly what they do. So they know exactly what they're doing when they play in and out of possession. And it's great to see. But I don't know what it is at the moment. There's just a real exciting feel around Sunderland as a whole at the moment, around the Stadium of Light. And it's magnificent.
Yeah, and look, as a one-team town, you know, it's fantastic. Oh, yeah. It's fantastic for Sunderland itself, isn't it?
It's a city.
Sorry. You'll be telling me Hartlepool's a city next. Come on.
We're not going to discuss Hartlepool. All right?
No, we're not. But look, one thing that has been remarkable is the recruitment.
I think credit should be given to those who have done the recruitment the way they have. And it's obviously the players they brought in, but on top of that, they must have looked more in depth to the character of each individual as well, because they know what was needed from a player coming to Sunderland Football Club, especially now in the league they're in at the moment. And they need to be players who are winners. They need, I call it, and I know it's probably whether it's a right or wrong word, to have the devil inside them to win a game of football. And you saw that on Saturday night with the goal. I mean, did it come out of nothing? No, because they were pushing to get an equaliser right up until the death. And the way he probably threw himself and how he done it, I don't really know, because the way he got his foot
brilliant.
Brilliant. My biggest concern then was because possibly how high his foot was there going to be an intervention? And I thought, don't spoil me. Like, but the recruitment team as a whole, full credit to them, been magnificent.
It's amazing, that, Bolly. I thought the exact same thing myself when I saw it. And I think if the goalie's maybe slightly nearer him, it maybe does endanger him a little bit, and he might have an issue. But I want to ask you again. I told you I was at Stamford Bridge. The supporters at Stamford Bridge, Bolly, and you know better than me, were absolutely ridiculous. They did not stop from the first minute to the last. Now, I haven't been fortunate enough to get to a home game yet, but I'll be down very, very shortly, and I'll be seeing Gully and the boys. I would imagine that place is absolutely rocking at this moment in time.
I think Saturday epitomised Sunderland as a city. The whole day from start to finish was magnificent. From the mosaics of the poppies around the ground to the minute silence to the last post, everything about the whole day was brilliant. And I think that's something that, again, credit should be given to those behind the scenes at the football club at the moment for what they do. They're making it a whole day. They're not just making it, let's go to the game, 90 minutes, let's go home. Everybody's in the ground early. The music they get on, the way they do the pyrotechnics and all stuff like, yes, very much different to when I may have played a long, long time ago, and to a degree even when I coached. But I really enjoyed the day. And yes, the result for us Saturday helped, and the performance, but it wasn't just that. Honestly, the club itself at this moment should get a massive pat on the back for what they're doing, because it's brilliant.
Yeah. Look, the only little cloud on the horizon, and I'm desperately hoping that they're going to go on and maintain this for the whole season. The only cloud, really, Kevin, is the African Cup of Nations. Starts in December, and it could be that you lose Siddiqui, Ronaldo, Bertrand Traore, Habib Diarra, Adingra, Matsuaki, Talbi. Talbi, by the way, nice cameo when he came on at the weekend, I thought. You could lose as many as sort of 7 players. But I suppose the other hand is people like Dan Neil and Luke O'Neill, Chris Rigg, they're absolutely champing at the bit for an opportunity.
I think these players that have helped us get back into the Premier League will be chomping at the bit to get their chance in the Premier League, and this will be their opportunity, and you hope they take it. The club have asked me if I'll get me boots back on, so I'm back in pre-season. Might take a few years, like, but you never know.
Well, there's a few centre forwards in the country shaking in their shoes at the moment. The prospect of that, mate.
It might hamper the squad as a whole a little bit, but I'm sure the people that are coming in or getting the opportunity to come into the team will be ready for it, and they know the standards that have been set prior to them coming into the team, and they've got to achieve them and get to them as well.
Brilliant. Kev, thanks very much indeed.
Cheers, Kev. All the best, mate.
You two both. Take care of yourselves. Bye.
Cheers,
bye.
mate.
It's gone bonfire night, but I'm just going to light the blue touch paper, okay? Well, not me, but Doe has lit the blue touch paper. Morning, boys. Saturday was the beginning of Arsenal's wheels falling off. We've seen it all before. They get a 1-goal lead, try and shut up shop. And look what happens. So, that's not me saying that, okay, guys, the Arsenal fans out there. But the 4 points clear at the moment. It's going to be a fascinating title race, I would imagine. Arsenal, by the way, Spurs at home, Bayern Munich at home, and Chelsea away in their next 3 games. Quite a run for them, bearing in mind how many players they have out injured. Right, still to come on breakfast.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Doing what matters for the trade. Find your local branch at travisperkins.co.uk.
At 8 o'clock, we'll be talking the title race. Has Arsenal's draw opened the door for Manchester City? But for Liverpool, it's all looking a bit bleak. Ross the Red is laying the blame at Arne Slot's door.
Tactically, I think Slot got it wrong. He was using it looked like Wirtz as a false 9, and there was nobody around the D, nobody in that centre forward position.
Give us a call. 03717 223344 is 8 points, an insurmountable gap even at this early stage for Liverpool. Arsenal and City fans, you can get involved too. That was our look ahead, all thanks to the brilliant Travis Perkins.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Bricks on bricks on bricks. Over 40 million available to order with delivery to site. That's one less thing to worry about.
Good morning to you. 10 minutes away from 8 o'clock on Monday, November the 10th. Brooke, the Arsenal fan, says, have Arsenal opened the door? It was never closed. 11 games in. Has everyone lost their sense of perspective? Very fair point indeed, Brooke. This is talkSPORT Breakfast. I'm Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist is with me. What else do we know this morning? Arnie Slot says his team have lost too many games to be thinking about a title defence. City's win over them at the weekend, of course, leaves them 4 points behind Arsenal. Lando Norris has said he's not thinking about a first F1 title. Norris has a 24-point lead over McLaren teammate Oscar Piastri, just 3 races left. And Nottingham Forest beat Leeds 3-1 to move within a point of safety. So let's hear from a delighted Sean Dyche on that result.
Yeah, very pleased. Important game as they all are, but certainly this one because, just that little gap. We don't want to come too far disconnected. We know the challenge in front of us. We know the challenge with the fixture list. So it was important, but also the underlying importance to me is always the performance levels. I always say, and I've said it for years, so forgive me, but you'll always take a lucky one, but you can't rely on the future of a team to be lucky. You have to earn the right, and you have to earn it from how you play, and I thought there was a lot of good signs about us today.
And definitely good signs as far as Forest are concerned, but Daniel Farke's under a bit of pressure at Leeds.
Oh, you better believe this, yeah. I mean, we never did get carried away with all 3 newly promoted sides having a great start, particularly Sunderland. But it was always going to be difficult for like Leeds and Burnley to. I mean, they're still serious and we're fighting chance. Yeah. Of course they are. But Leeds dropping form would be concern and some poor results.
Yeah, I mean, I said at the time, got lots of messages from Leeds fans saying, "Look at the number of players we've signed," and I said, "Yeah, it's not about quantity; it's about quality."
Yeah,
and I'm not sure some of the recruitment's been great. And look at the fixtures to come. The next 4.
What have they got?
Aston Villa at home, Man City away, Chelsea at home, Liverpool at home.
Wow. Yeah.
I mean, big games. We shall see. They've still got their head above water.
Yeah, of course.
At the moment. It's their away form. That's the big issue, their away form. Right, it is time to get an update on the Rugby Union in partnership with Tenor Men.
Autumn International's review on talkSPORT with Tenor Men. Stay dry and keep control with an unbeatable lineup of products approved by the Men's Health Lab.
Yeah, what an afternoon it was at Murrayfield, Coisty.
Brilliant. I watched most of it.
Yeah, I saw some of it. But actually, I'll tell you, when I turned over, Scotland were losing 17-0. The All Blacks had a bloke in the sin bin, and still Scotland couldn't make any inroads. So I couldn't quite believe what I saw, what happened after that they got back to 17 points apiece. Look, for more on this, we're joined by the man who is the Scotland head coach, Gregor Townsend. Morning, Gregor.
Gregor, good morning. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you guys?
We're smashing, mate. We're smashing.
I mean, as an Englishman, I'll make the point, obviously Scotland had never beaten the All Blacks. When you got back to 17 points apiece, in your heart of hearts, you must have been thinking, this is it. This is our chance.
Yeah, we had all the momentum in that third quarter. I think we were within the try line on 3 occasions just before 17-all, where we didn't get the ball over the line. And then when we went 17-all, we forced another yellow card. So that 10-minute period was where we just dropped our momentum a little bit. We should have been further ahead, given those chances, but we'll definitely be frustrated that we didn't get the job done.
Gregor, would that be the main frustration? I look at the captain, Chipolotu's come out and said during that period when you were in top, it's the best rugby he's seen and been involved with Scotland. But would one of the disappointments be, I mean, effectively, the All Blacks played, I think, for 30 minutes with 14 men. We didn't take full advantage of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was really proud of the display, especially the third quarter. But even the first half, I thought we played some really good rugby. It was 10-0, and we'd been held up over the try line twice. So it was a competitive game. It was our first game since really the Six Nations with all our players back. So to play at that level straight away is pleasing, but not to win is disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, it was typical of the All Blacks, wasn't it? It just never roll over.
Yeah, and we know there's not much between us and the top teams, but you don't get to play them that often. We hadn't played them for 3 years, and that was a chance gone. But you just got to put it into your collective experience and make sure you're better for it.
Yeah,
Is that the difference, Greg? I mean, we've got, there's no doubt about it, we've got some fantastic, talented players. But I'm looking, I actually, believe it or not, I jumped on a flight back up the road. I was at Spurs game, and I was watching the game. My flight took off just as Damien McKenzie hit that 50-22, and I thought, I know, and my heart sunk, and that was the last I saw things until I touched down in Glasgow. Then obviously I find out, he's got to try and a penalty to boot as well. They've got, is that the difference? They've got players that can just, I know we've got one or two, but they've got players that have just got that special bit of magic, do you think?
I'm not sure if it's that, Ali. I think Finn had a great 50-22 earlier in the game.
Sure.
They just were able to absorb the pressure, but I'd look at ourselves on why or how we could have done better during that period, because we were dominant, and I think if they'd gone behind a score, it would have been very difficult for them. But because it was 17-all, they're going to have a good bit of play at some point, and that kick certainly changed the momentum.
Mm-hmm. I was just going to say, sorry, Jeff, another one. Well, we've got you. I looked at, as I say, I missed the last period, but I'm led to believe we gave away 4 or 5 penalties in the last 10 minutes. Was that kind of a little bit of ill discipline, or was that them putting us under pressure?
Oh, it was just under pressure. So the 50-22 gives them a line out so close to a line, and a lot of teams will give away penalties under that pressure. So yeah, it was tough then when they scored a try.
Well, you've softened the All Blacks up for the English. Obviously, that's the good news. But look, Greg, I mean, you've got Argentina next. Look, it's a distance away from the Six Nations, but you're going to be going into the Six Nations with plenty of positivity, aren't you?
We should, but we got a big challenge this weekend. Argentina are a great side. They've beat New Zealand and South Africa this year. Did a big win against Wales, and we've got to make sure that we're better this weekend. I thought it was a great weekend of rugby, like watching our game, the atmosphere at Murrayfield, the standard of play.
Brilliant it was.
So, France, South Africa, and then
14 men. They're incredible. I've got to say, you know far better than me, but they're incredible, don't they? 14 men.
Yeah, and the level of physicality and skill and effort that goes into the game right now, it's great to watch. I'm glad I'm up in the coaching box and not on the field.
Yeah,
fantastic. Greg, look, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for your time, mate.
On Saturday.
Great to see you.
No worries. Cheers, guys.
Take care.
Thanks,
all
Jeff.
the best.
Bye.
Just quickly, talking rugby, which I'm not. Joe Marler in Traders.
Nothing short of magnificent.
Oh, wasn't he?
Absolutely. I thought him and Alan were the standouts.
Yeah.
I mean, I just can't remember watching something and enjoying it as much over the period it was on, Jeff. It was compulsive viewing. I don't think it can get any better than that. No. I know they'll have another one, but I do not think it can get. And to be fair to Joe,
he's brilliant.
He got it. He just got it, didn't he?
Yeah, he's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant,
Oh, he was magic. And Alan Carmer, he just played. He played it tremendously well, didn't he?
No, it was a fantastic show, but I loved Joe's performance.
Me too.
And I tell you what he's done is he's going to go now from sporting star.
Oh yeah.
To superstar. Yeah. He'd be in demand for all the other big celebrity shows and such like. So, brilliant. Well played, Joe.
It's great.
Well played Scotland as well, by the way. It was a fantastic weekend for rugby.
Boys did well.
And that was thanks to 10 Men. And you heard from the Scotland head coach, Gregor Townsend. Coming up, Liverpool fans, it's time to have your say. 0371722 3344. Is the title completely out of the question now? Your chance to have your say is next.
Autumn International's review on talkSPORT with 10 Men. Stay dry and keep control with an unbeatable lineup of products approved by the Men's Health Lab.
The Premier League's profit and sustainability rules are sold to us as financial fair play, a way to keep clubs from going bust. But there are those who feel it's starting to look a lot like a system that protects the big boys and keeps the rest in their lane. Here's how it works and why people feel that way. So clubs can only lose 105 million quid over 3 years, which sounds fair, but here's the kicker. Your limit includes how much you earn. So if you're one of the traditional top 6, you've got massive global revenue streams and you can spend way more while still technically following the rules. Meanwhile, ambitious clubs who've got money like Newcastle, Villa or Forest, well, they're bringing a knife to a gunfight. Newcastle might be backed by Saudi billions, but they just can't splurge the cash. Their commercial income isn't there yet. Want to buy world-class talent? Well, PSR says to them, your owner might have the money, but you're not making enough in shirt sales in Asia for that. The Magpies won their first domestic trophy since 1955, qualified for the Champions League, which you'd think would be a great springboard for them to go on and start building a team to challenge at the top. But because of PSR restraints, they couldn't break their wage structure for a new Alexander Isak contract, and look what's happened there. Nottingham Forest tried to invest to survive, they did that, but they got punished anyway. Meanwhile, clubs like Spurs, until last season, hadn't won a trophy in over 18 years, but because they rake in cash from the new stadium, they get a much bigger PSR allowance than a newly promoted club who are just trying to stay up. And let's not forget the loopholes these big boys are exploiting. Chelsea found the trick with those long contracts, selling the women's team. City are masters of related party sponsorships. Etihad this, Etisalat that, all within the rules, and fair play to them for capitalising on those opportunities. But what about the smaller clubs? They don't have that luxury. Now look, financial sustainability matters. Nobody wants another Bury or Morecambe situation. But there's increasing concern that rather than levelling the playing field, the current rules cement the existing hierarchy. So what's the solution? We'll either loosen the reins so ambitious clubs can spend within their means, or cap spending based on something other than revenue. Otherwise, we're just watching the same 6 teams swapping silverware most seasons while the rest play musical chairs for 7th. And that, folks, ain't what the Premier League was built on.
Morning, 8:05. It is Monday, November the 10th. Hi, Jeff and Ali. A text we just got in said, I hate it when listeners text in and say, you haven't spoken about my club yet, so I don't want to be that listener. But did I miss the chat about the absolute whooping that Villa gave to Bournemouth? Oh, you are that listener. Yes, you did miss it. It was quite early, in fairness, I would say, before 7 o'clock.
Yes.
But we did talk about how brilliant Villa had been. Look, lots on the way for you this morning on talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist and Arnold Clark. Get the UK's best used car deals guaranteed, including Everton manager David Moyes live to reflect on a good start to life at their new home, the Hill Dickinson Stadium. So far, at least, good win for them at the weekend.
Great one, confident.
Over Fulham by 2 goals. So just a little quick aside then. Fulham, are they in the relegation fight?
Yes, worried.
Yeah.
I'd be worried.
Yeah, me too. I mean, they didn't really invest in the team before the start of the season. No. The other thing I wonder about, and Fulham fans might be able to enlighten me on this, there's a lot of complaint about the cost of tickets at Craven Cottage now. And I just wonder, is that affecting the atmosphere down there? It's something I honestly don't know. But if you're a Fulham supporter, let me know. What is the mood like at Craven Cottage? We'll also catch up with a former Manchester United keeper, Ben Foster. Adrian Durham's in the studio for an hour after 9, and we'll get a ref's perspective on Liverpool's controversial disallowed goal at City. It was a goal, wasn't it?
Yes.
All day long.
All day long.
Yeah.
I get it. There was a similar one at Rangers, which I felt up at Dundee, which I felt was correctly disallowed because he was affecting the goalkeeper. I don't think Robbo was affecting the goalkeeper.
No, not in the least. Not in the eye line at all. And the Etihad is where we start this hour. Liverpool taking that beating from informed Man City.
This will be a must-win game for your Man City and Liverpool if you want to put Arsenal under more pressure.
And it's Erling Haaland. You can't keep a great striker down. He's missed a penalty, but he's just buried a header into the far corner, headed in by Virgil van Dijk.
And it is overturned. The goal will not stand.
The wrong decision was made on the pitch and the wrong decision was made off the pitch by the V.A.R.
Oh, it's another goal. It's a brilliant one as well from the edge of the penalty area. Nico Gonzalez, take a bow, fella.
As well as Liverpool played against Real Madrid in midweek, they have been atrocious.
Oh, there we go.
And my word, does he deserve this? Jeremy Doku has just made it Manchester City 3, Liverpool 0.
It's a dash of dazzling, dizzying Doku dynamite.
Of course it's better to be a 4 point than 6, but from my experience here, it is so long.
They were supposed to be on a revival mission, but the old problems that have haunted them over the course of the season have been exposed brutally. You still think they can win the title? No chance.
Yeah, well, I think from a City's perspective, Doku, unplayable. Unplayable.
Absolutely out of this world.
By the way, of course, we make a lot of the Arsenal squad, and it's a good squad. You see the City bench?
Of course, sir.
Listen to this. I mean, obviously, there's no Rodri at the moment.
Yeah.
But Trafford, Stones, Rico Lewis, Aiton Nuri, Reinders, Oscar Bob, Nathan Aki, Savino, Marmouche. Goodness me, what a bench.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That is absolutely fantastic. And you know something? They absolutely didn't need it at the weekend because they were different class.
No.
That's two great performances. Obviously, I mentioned I was at the Dortmund game in midweek where I thought they were absolutely superb, and they followed up yesterday with as clinical and top class a performance as Pep could have wished for.
If you're looking at them as title contenders, and you have to,
of course you do.
The one big question mark is, what the heck would they do if Haaland got injured?
Yeah.
And that's the only question mark in my mind about him.
He's absolutely vital and pivotal. You know, he's one of these boys, misses a penalty. You think, how's that going to affect him? Not one.
Not at all.
No, not at all.
Not
He gets his headed goal immediately after it, which he does really, really well. I mean, I think it's Kanate.
Right in front of him, yeah.
And it comes off his head.
Yeah.
But the reason it comes off his head, and I don't know if the boy said it, he gives him a nudge just as the ball's in the air and the way over. And I think it does for him, knocks him off balance a little bit. And then he gets his break, comes off his head, and it goes into the other far corner. Great header.
Brilliant. I mean, he's just in a completely different league.
Different level.
As far as I'm concerned.
Absolutely different level.
But for Liverpool, any positivity there'd been after the last couple of results disappearing. Let's hear from some Liverpool fans, shall we? 03717 223344, the number to call. And Joe has called that number. Morning, Joe.
Good morning, Joe.
Good morning. How are you, gentlemen?
Yeah, well, thanks for taking the time to call us. Really, really disappointing performance and disappointing day for Liverpool.
No, absolutely. Look, I mean, I've got a lot to say. This time last year, I was calling up about how amazing we were, how controlled we were, how steady we were, and how confident every Liverpool fan was going into the game. This season, it's absolutely disgraceful. It's a dismal state of affairs, and I'm going to say it immediately early on this call. I do think it's actually time for Slot to probably. I do. I think it's time for him to go. I'm not going to lie. It's a shame. I love the guy. I think he's a great guy. I think he's a great manager. I think he did incredibly well last year. But this is totally unacceptable. Liverpool Football Club have lost 5 games in the last 6 in the Premier League. That's one of the worst forms we've ever been on. And the City game was absolutely atrocious. And I wasn't surprised we lost. You know, I didn't celebrate against Villa at home because why should I celebrate after we lost 4 Premier League games in a row? I didn't celebrate when we beat Real Madrid 1-0 because, okay, this is acceptable stuff, you know, the Champions League game, it's the European night. And even when we had bad seasons before, we still got some okay results at Anfield. So it's absolutely dismal. And in my opinion, I don't think Slot has enough credit in the bank. We've lost the league after 11 games this season, and it's just totally unacceptable. So there are, I've
got to commend you. I mean, Right, I listen to your views and I can understand them, but we're talking about a man here who absolutely ran away with the league last year. Right, we're the best team in the country by the proverbial mile. Yes, there's no doubt about it. Liverpool are having a struggle right now at this moment in time. But one of the things I would suggest, and I'd hear your views on it, I don't think your signings are anything like, to the benefit of the team that they'd hope for. Isak is a bizarre situation. Kerkez and Frimpong not doing it. Ekitiki's the one that probably has. Salah's form's dipped. McAllister's form's dipped. I just think there's a combination of a lot of things, which, yes, he has to sort out, but I know Jeff's given them up in the league. I think he said earlier, and it sounds as though you have, but surely it's too early to give up in the league, mate.
No, it's not. It's not at all. I mean, we've got 9 games to Arsenal away. Arsenal away is till January. And in those 9 games, we have to win every single one of them. A couple of them include Tottenham away, Leeds away, Brighton at home, Forest at home, West Ham away, Sunderland at home, and I think Wolves at home as well, or something like that. We have to win every single one of them. And as a fan, as I said, I'm not celebrating until we win at least 5-6 games in a row. But in regards to your question, is the league over? It absolutely is. I don't understand how things can become majestic when we can't even put a shift in against City away, when we're losing to Chelsea away, we're losing to Palace away, we're losing to Brentford away, and we lost to Man United at home. This manager does not know how to get the best out of our new signings. I'm not necessarily blaming the transfers on the manager. I do think we've made a bit of a mistake with some of the signings, and also in regards to the sales. Luis Diaz leaving is a real shame. He was absolutely quality.
Joe, I've got to stop you because for the very good reason that we have to speak to Joe. It's another Joe who's another Liverpool fan. Morning, Joe.
Morning, Joe.
Morning, gents. Jeff, Barry, is Joe still live on this show?
Yes.
Yes, we've got him, Joe.
Joe, you know what, Joe? You're a plant pot, mate. How can you dare say? How can you have the audacity? How long have you been watching Liverpool, mate?
All my life, 24 years, mate.
24 years? We'll get back to bed and get another 36 into you and then start talking about Liverpool.
But this is ridiculous.
Where have you come from? How have you got started? Listen,
go on. Let me hear what you have to say.
It's a new... I'm not talking to you. I want you to listen, but I'm talking to Susie. You just listen and get educated.
Well, I'll reply, because I think you're going to talk nonsense.
The situation is, Liverpool Football Club, mate, are here for a long time, and they'll be a lot longer than you and me. Okay? I've been watching them 60 years, mate.
All right, well, I'm going to say the same thing in 60 years as well.
Stay with me, please. You're not a politician. Let me have a conversation.
Okay, go on.
Yes, yesterday we were poor yesterday, but we're getting better. And we're getting our formation. It takes time. Rome wasn't built in a day, Joseph. It takes time, son. A long time. Was it a goal? Yes, it was a goal. Could it change the game? Certainly changed the game. Great penalty save. Arnie's here for the future, mate. Don't be knocking Liverpool manager on live
I'm not
shows.
knocking them. I would never knock them. I support them through thick and thin.
Listen, Don't dare do it.
No,
you don't do that about Liverpool football.
No. If you're a real fan, listen. If you're a real fan,
what we're doing, Joseph. What we're doing.
Hold Liverpool up to a high standard. I don't understand why you can't hold Liverpool Football Club to a high standard. No, but
I'm being critical, but we're critical behind closed doors, son. That's what we do.
Listen, saying I think it's time for Slot to go, I don't understand how that's controversial. There's plenty of other managers that could potentially get the best out of this team, potentially get the best out of our players. And I'm literally just saying I think it's time for him to go, because I don't see how we're going to improve. I don't see how we're going to challenge for the league this season, and I don't see where we're going to win a trophy. I'm not saying he's a bad manager, but I'm looking in the interest of Liverpool Football Club. We have a different perspective. You think, okay, Slot's the best man. I personally don't. But we can't excuse the love for the club. You can't say I don't love the club just as much as you, just because I'm saying that I think Slot might have to go.
Perspective of it. You watched this space 2 years ago. Sorry, lads, I took over the show there. I do apologise.
Joe, you're brilliant, both of you.
I've had a cup of tea. I love that.
Joe and Joe, thanks very much indeed.
That was great, boys.
It was no ordinary Joes. Brilliant. They were both brilliant.
Wasn't that great?
Yeah, fantastic.
The only thing I would say, in agreement with the second Joe, and even There's 28 games to go.
Well, I just don't think...
It's not 7 or 8, Jeff,
but from what you see of Liverpool right now, there is no way that you can see them clawing those points back. What I do agree with, though, is I think it was the first Joe who said... Arne Slot's not got enough credit in the bank. Yes, he has.
Of course he has.
He won the Premier League at the first time I'm asking. That gives you plenty of credit.
Agreed.
So I'd agree with that. Disagree with that completely. So, just one very quick word. Any chance of a shout out for Nuno, West Ham and Freddie Potts? Quick to criticise. 2 huge wins for West Ham. That's from Fred, the West Ham fan.
Correct.
Fred, you are bang on.
Absolutely.
Coming up, we bring you more on the news that Alan Brazil is running in the 130 at Kempton. That's next. Good morning, 8:22. It is Monday, November the 10th. Got huge reaction.
That was great.
Huge reaction to the two Joes arguing over Liverpool there. Lewis has texted, he said, I just agree with Joe. Thanks for that, Lewis. And Leon says, he's not the only one, by the way. He said, hey, guys, I'm loving this as a Man United fan. Liverpool fans arguing amongst themselves. Golden. Thank you very much indeed, Leon. And a lot of people are saying that as well. People taking sides, though, between Joe 1 and Joe 2. James, the Liverpool fan, says, gents, superb show. Just been punching the air listening to the second Joe. He says, please don't be giving these clowns airtime saying that Slot should be sacked. Team in transition, the loss of Diogo Jota and lots of new faces give Slot time to sort it out. I think most Liverpool fans are with James, the Liverpool fan, saying, you know,
of course they are. Of course, I think majority. Yeah, that's the beauty of the game. We're all entitled to their opinion. The first Joe's entitled to his opinion, but I would certainly think the majority of Liverpool fans would back second Joe. Joe 2.
Yeah. Having said that, Sims just texted and said, morning, lads. Said, got to say, I totally agree with the first Joe this morning. Time is up for Arnie. Personally, is this a parody? Personally, I think we should see what Rafa Benitez is doing. He certainly has credit in the bank. He's managing in Greece at the moment, so I don't think he'll be coming back. And Rob, the Man United fan, like many Man United fans, says, slot in. Yeah, he said, that was the best radio I've heard in years. Excellent. Right, time we got the latest odds with Coral and Dave Stevens.
The Coral Daily Download on talkSPORT with Coral. We're here for the fans this season. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
Steve-O, morning.
Morning, Steve-O.
Gentlemen, a very good morning. That was a brilliant piece of radio there.
That was really entertaining, wasn't it? Hey, two passionate callers with opposite views. That's fine. That's what it's all about.
That's what talkSPORT and that's what football's about, isn't it? But I was listening to the first Joe thinking, is this guy for real?
Yeah.
And I did think to myself, be interesting to see a Liverpool fan with a Scouse accent come on. And sure enough, Joe too didn't let me down. And I thought he dispatched him quite enough. But look, if not winning the league is a reason to sack him, then, you know, Pep should have gone last year. Arteta should have gone over that. You know, it's crazy. They're still in the Champions League and they've just beaten Real Madrid. They're still in the FA Cup. The title race isn't over. OK, look, we heard from Crookie earlier. They are going to have to go on some sort of run, but it's possible if it all clicks. But look, they're out to 12-1. So, yeah, sure, it's not been a great defence, but you can't overlook what happened in the summer at that football club, Ali, and the impact of the tragic events. In terms of Arsenal, they have eased slightly. Obviously, a brilliant point for Sunderland. Let's give Sunderland some credit. Only 2 defeats this season.
Incredible.
Arsenal go in there, no right to win that game. And sure enough, Sunderland, getting the point. So Arsenal now 8-11, and it's City into 2-1. So, look, we're saying it's a 2-horse race. Is that correct, Ali? Is it far too early to say that?
No, I know, but I'm not ruling Liverpool out just because there's so many games left, Steve-O. You're asking me right now who I think will win the league. It'll certainly be between one of those two. And I took Liverpool at the start of the season, so I've got to be honest there. And then, actually, I think I told you, I stuck a couple of quid on Arsenal after they get beaten by Liverpool at Anfield. But City's form is excellent. They've impressed me like you've no idea. I was up for the Dortmund game. Obviously, I watched the game yesterday. You know, I'm not surprised you're shortening them, mate.
Yeah. Sorry, Jeff. Go on,
Stephen. No, I was just going to say, before we come to the main event of the day, which happens at 1:30 at Kempton, before we come to that, just tell us about the relegation betting, because Leeds, Burnley, Fulham all losing at the weekend. West Ham, Nottingham Forest both winning. That has to have shaken up the odds at the bottom, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, let's start, Wolves fans turn away now, 8-1 on.
Wow.
Just on that, I just want to drop into the Championship because it's linked. Rob Edwards being, I say linked with the Wolves job, but it appears it's a done deal. Wolves are 8-1 on to go down, so they'd be 9-2 to stay up. Middlesbrough are 13-8 to be promoted. You see, if Rob Edwards wants Premier League football next season, the odds say stay where you are. But listen, that's a subplot. Wolves 8-1 on, Burnley 100-30 on. Now the two teams who are odds on for relegation. West Ham, despite 2 good results, third favourites 11-8. Leeds banging it now after a really good start, 6-4. Forest 3-1. And I heard you saying about Fulham. Are they in it? I mean, they are the next 11-2. It's the old story. If Sunderland, and let's say it now, they're not going to get relegated. So that does mean that a West Ham, a Forest, a Fulham could well get dragged into it. So, yeah, it's going to be fascinating. But as I say, interesting where if Rob Edwards does decide that he fancies the Wolves job.
Yeah. I think that's a strange one. I mean, not knowing all the details, Steve, but the actual move itself, going to a club that looks as though, for all intents and purposes, they were playing their football in the division he's in just now.
Yeah.
And Middlesbrough might not be.
But he was captain of Wolves.
Yeah, I get it.
His family do live in the Midlands as well. So, two sides to every story. Yeah. But look, 1:30 at Kempton. Alan Brazil runs. I mean, is he stripping fit at the moment?
Steve-o, before you give us your opinion on it, there was one glaring statistic getting flying out the Racing Post to me today, and it was 11 stone. Right, there's no danger, Alan.
It's a bit of overweight.
This is the first time we'll have a steward's inquiry before the race.
But the horse is age 5, and I'm guessing that was when Al was last 11 stone when he was 5 years old. But this is brilliant. This is a racehorse called Alan Brazil, and it's by a crack French stallion called Blue Brazil, which doesn't go down well with Al, obviously, the blue bit.
Correct.
It's trained by Nick Schofield. He makes his racecourse debut today. When you first mentioned it, between 7 and 7:30, it was 25-1. It's now 33-1. The question is, I'm guessing if it's anything like the human Brazil, all roads lead to Cheltenham in March, and then we just have to see whether he turns up or not. So, an eye out for Alan Brazil.
Steve, if it makes it to Cheltenham, I'm suggesting it's in Tuesday or Wednesday. There'll never be a Thursday, I can tell you that. Brilliant, mate.
Yeah. But let's keep an eye out on the equine Alan Brazil. It's brilliantly named, I have to say, and we wish Nick Schofield and the owners the best of luck there this afternoon.
Yeah, we do indeed, mate. We'll be looking out for it. 1:30 at Kempton.
Magic, isn't it?
Yeah. Steve-o, brilliant. Thank you very much indeed.
Cheers, fellas.
Somebody's texted in, and he's done this before, by the way, now. He says, Ali, he's talking about me, actually. He said, Jeff, it's not November 10th. It's 10th November. Teach him how to do the date, Ali. There isn't a name on. Oh, yes, there is. It's from Mr. Pedant. But you could say the other way around, can't you?
Well, I think
November the 10th.
November the 10th. 10th of November, November the 10th.
Yeah.
14th of November. 14th. I don't know.
We need to get the two Joes back on to argue this. Yeah. Anyway.
That's a discussion 9 to 10 from the two Joes.
Yeah, brilliant. Look, that was the latest look at the latest odds, all thanks to Coral 18+, gambleaware.org. Coming up, we'll turn our attention to Manchester United next and whether they're proving week on week that they could be back in the Champions League next season.
The Coral Daily Download on talkSPORT with Coral. We're here for the fans this season. 18+, gambleaware.org.
When was the last time you saw someone score with a knuckleball free kick? We're going to take a look at why we're not seeing them anymore and explain a bit about how they work. The knuckleball peaked in the 2010s after that Ronaldo strike against Portsmouth in 2008 inspired academy players everywhere. Here's a young Mason Mount.
I tried to base my free kick on Ronaldo, hit the ball by the valve and it moves. So what do you do? Top corner.
Now, no ball is perfectly aerodynamic, so as it travels it creates ever-changing pockets of turbulent air, causing that unpredictable movement. Football's most prolific free kick taker, Juninho Pernambucano, perfected the technique but didn't invent it. He was inspired by players from the 90s and even the 50s. So how do you do it? You have to hit the ball head on with as short a contact time as possible so the ball doesn't spin. Hitting by the valve helps with that short contact time as it's the hardest part of the football. So why don't we see knuckleballs much anymore? It's because players are being told not to shoot from dead ball situations because the XG is so low. In fact, as Opta shows here, since the 08-09 season there's been a 10% reduction in players shooting from free kicks in the Premier League. And in 23-24, a record low of 11 free kicks found the back of the net. And the knuckleball, though spectacular, is imprecise, which is why it's becoming a thing of the past.
Good morning to you. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist and Arnold Clark at £750 of any used electric car or home charger. It is 8:35 on Monday, November the 10th. Or Monday the 10th of November, whichever you would prefer.
Have we worked that one out yet?
No, not at all. No idea.
But like an explanation.
Yeah. Rod says, as a 55-year fan of LFC, I completely agree with Joe too. Joe 1 is an absolute plant pot.
I'd never heard of that.
Heard a phrase, neither have I.
In fact, I've never been called it.
Oh, well, I'm sure the people have, but
early days.
Just not in your hearing, Coisey, that's all. So, right, let's have a bit of this.
Get in the ring to win on talkSPORT.
Yeah, we've got a new prize up for grabs. You won't want to miss it.
You're right, I'm dreaming there. We're giving you the chance to win 2 tickets to the highly anticipated rematch between Chris Eubank Jr and Conor Benn. Spot on there, wasn't it? And that's at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on Saturday, the 15th of November, Jeff.
You plant pot. The prize includes a one-night stay at a 5-star hotel in London, plus £5,000 spending money to make it an unforgettable weekend. Listen up, here's how to enter.
18 plus, UK excluding Northern Ireland. For a chance to win, text the word BOX to 83338 and you're in the draw. Text costs £2 plus 1 standard network rate message. You must have the bill payer's permission, or you can enter for free by calling 0330 880 3338. All entries must be received by the 13th of November at 1 p.m. and you need to answer our call to win. This is a talkSPORT limited promotion. Full terms and conditions at talksport.com.
Back to the Premier League now. Dramatic start to the weekend, wasn't it? With that finish at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, Manchester United grabbing a late point with only 10 men having used all the subs, and then seeing Benjamin Sesko get injured. The draw keeps Ruben Amorim's side unbeaten in 5. He's happy with the vibes heading into the 2-week international break.
It's really important because it's that feeling of not going home with a losing feeling. That is really important. But again, my players need to understand that we lose 2 points. The feeling in the end is different, but in my head we lost 2 points, like we lost 2 points against Nottingham. So We need to win the next game. Is going to be in our home, and we need to. Today we had a different energy if you compare against Nottingham, but it's not enough. We need to have a different energy.
Yeah, I mean, look, you were at the game, Coisty, and that tells you a lot about the change in mentality at Manchester United, doesn't it? You know, in times gone by, not too distant times gone by, they'd have seen that as a good point, a point that they've gained with 10 men, brilliant. But there, Ruben Amorim saying quite clearly, 2 points dropped.
I also think, Jeff, in times gone by, they wouldn't have got the point. I think there's more about them. It's evident there's far more about them. They're miles away from the finished article, has to be said. But they look slightly harder to play against, and they certainly look, I think, better in forward areas. Some good performances. I thought Dorgu played well. I thought Ahmad played really, really well. We've mentioned Cunha and Boomer before. Those two in particular are at this early stage, I think, look 2 terrific new signings. Can handle it. Not even handle it. It looks as though they're thriving in that kind of situation. So I think at this early stage, there must be heaps of positives for Manchester United, but still a lot of work to do. But I take your point. They're disappointed at getting a point, but I think maybe, certainly last season, I don't think they're getting a point.
Yeah. Let's get more on this one, shall we now, with the former Manchester United keeper, Ben Foster. Morning, Ben.
Good morning, Ben.
Morning, everybody. Great show as always.
Thanks, Ben.
Thanks, mate. Do you sense that change in attitude at Man United?
Yeah, I think Ali's probably just said everything that needed to be said right there. I only watched the game on the TV, but they look okay. They look like they're playing with a lot more confidence than what they have done for most of this season. But I just think when you sort of contrast it to the quality of Man City, for example, last night, I think it's very evident that there's still quite a way to go still.
See, I think that's in a nutshell, mate. I really do. I think there's definitely been improvements. I think the positivity around Manchester United is understandable, and so there should be. There's small steps, but in terms of the large steps needed to get to the likes of the level at Manchester City, which we saw yesterday, they're still they're a good bit away. But I still think Amorim's. I think he speaks really well, Ben. I don't know what you think, and I actually think it was a good piece of ownership coming out and effectively backing him for a couple of years so that everybody knows, and just as importantly, never mind the fans knowing, I think the players knowing that he's going to be there for a while is something as well.
Yeah, I think people just tend to forget that the Premier League's actually really hard, to be honest with you. Like, the general quality of the Premier League is really, really hard, and to put a string of games together, we're seeing it all over the Premier League, but string of games together where you're winning consistently is really, really hard to do. So sometimes you just have to make sure you don't lose. And I think for Manchester United, they would have lost that game. Earlier in the season, they would have lost that game. They wouldn't have had it about them to go and really search for that equaliser. And that's the bit. I think it's the mentality shift, the mentality change in the players. They're all starting to buy into it now from what the manager's saying. He's been saying it for the best part of the year, in fairness to him. But I think it's finally seeping into the players, and you can see when players play with that belief and that positivity and the confidence, that you get better results for it as well.
I mean, talking of belief and confidence, I think that brings us round to the goalkeeper, Senny Lamens, who I had my question marks about him, coming from a club that play in front of small crowds in Belgium to playing, at Old Trafford and at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. But my word, he exudes confidence, doesn't he? Made a couple of great stops in sort of quick fire time in the second half at the weekend as well. How impressed have you been with him?
Yeah, I'm the same as you, Jeff. I really was. I didn't know what to expect at the beginning. It's a massive step up. You need somebody with a bit of authority, a bit of an aura about them to step into that Manchester United team. But he's done it so far with absolute ease as well. Like you said, he's got this confidence about him. He's coming out for balls into the box, crosses, where I'm thinking, that's, you're normally talking about seriously seasoned Premier League goalies that do this kind of stuff, and he's doing it from the get-go. It still remains to be seen whether he's got the X factors, the little bits that make a good goalie a great goalkeeper. If you look at some of the best goalies in the world at the moment, your Alissons or your Thibaut Courtois, Emi Martinez's, they've got lots of little X factors. There's loads of parts of their game where there's 4 or 5 things that they're world class at. Whether Senny Lamens has got that in his game, like I say, remains to be seen. But it's a fantastic start from it, really is.
It was amazing. I don't know if you saw the highlight. I don't know if he even showed you in the highlights. The first I think the first 5 seconds of the game, you get one. You get one played back to him, Ben, right? And he let it right. I'm not kidding on. It must have been 10 seconds in it, and he let it right under his foot, right? And it went back for a corner. I'm thinking, like, here we go. But getting back to the point you made, and I know it's really early days, but it is worth mentioning. For the first time in a long time, I just think the centre backs, whether it's Shaw, Maguire, Yoro, Delit, whoever it may be, I think they're looking back. And I think they've got a lot more confidence in what they see behind them.
Yeah, without doubt. I think you always have to have that settled back line, even that spine of the team. The more settled it can be, the better it can be. You see with Liverpool, Mamardashvili, who I think is a very, very good goalkeeper. But regardless, when you take a world-class player out of the team, it's going to affect the team. It's as simple as that. But for Man United, just to have that settled sort of spine of a team where everybody knows that person against them, he's played with him the last 3 or 4 games, you start to build up this rapport with each other. But I just think for United, they've been crying out for this goalkeeper now for a couple years, that really steady, solid, dependable goalkeeper, and so far it looks like they've found it, so the rest of the team can breed confidence off it as well.
Top 4, Ben, is it a possibility?
Oh, Jeff, steady on. No, I just think it's too competitive. I really, really do. I think there's probably 7 or 8 teams. Do you know what? In fairness, there's probably a dozen teams in this Premier League who can realistically beat anybody on their Saturday. Even you go down to your likes of your Brightons and your Bournemouths and all these kind of Sunderland just ripping up trees this season. You just don't know what you're going to get. So I'd say it's where they need to aim. They should be aiming for the top 4, but whether that's a realistic target or not, it's so hard to call it.
Ben, thanks very much.
Thanks, Ben. Have a good week, mate.
Yes, have a good guys. Thank you.
You too,
Bye-bye.
mate.
Bye-bye.
Former Man United goalkeeper Ben Foster. United's first game after the international break, live and exclusive on talkSPORT. They host Everton at Old Trafford Monday, November the 24th. Warren from Bolton says, morning boys, I was just thinking how they're going to get Alan Brazil in the starting stalls at Kempton. May I suggest he will need butter smeared on his hindquarters and a bottle of whispering angel on a stick to entice him in.
Very good.
Brilliant. Thanks very much indeed, Warren. Right, still to come on Breakfast.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Benchmarx Kitchens and Joinery. Get trade prices on kitchens to suit all styles and budgets at Benchmarx.
Oh, it's a great feeling, isn't it, when we hear that tune? It is if you're an Evertonian, and I'm sure it is for David Moyes. The Everton manager will join us live on the show after 9. Everton fans, if you've got a question to ask Moyes, send us a WhatsApp voice note to 03717 223344, and we may play it. Plus, we're joined in the studio for a whole hour by our voice of live football, Adrian Durham, who believes that Virgil van Dijk's goal was correctly ruled out. We'll put him right. That was our look ahead with Travis Perkins.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. With 250 hire branches nationwide, it's easy to hire at Travis Perkins.
good morning. This is talkSPORT Breakfast. I'm Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist is with me. What do we know this Monday morning? Lando Norris says he's not thinking about a first Formula One championship. Speaks with forked tongue.
Well, he should be.
Of course he is.
He's
24 points clear of Oscar Piastri, 3 races to go. Mark Gahey, Nick Pope and Anthony Gordon are all set to miss England's final 2 World Cup qualifying games through injury. Of course, England already qualified. And on talkSPORT, we're building up to our live coverage this Saturday of Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn meeting again in a highly anticipated rematch. Let's take a look ahead to the fight now with DAZN. Conor Benn will be looking to get revenge, of course, and talkSPORT Spencer Oliver is expecting a blockbuster showdown.
Big fight preview, Eubank Jr versus Ben 2 on talkSPORT with DAZN. A family feud over 30 years in the making. The greatest rivalry in British boxing. Don't miss the next chapter in an iconic vendetta. Eubank Jr versus Ben 2. Listen all this week for hard-hitting build-up to a highly anticipated rematch. And watch live this Saturday night only on DAZN. Buy now at DAZN.com.
It was a real back and forth in that contest, and we saw the pictures of Eubank, who was severely dehydrated after the fight as well. We saw the pictures of his face, and obviously Conor Benn's face was grossly swollen as well. It's testament to both guys and what they left all in the ring. Like they went for it, both of them. They both had their moments. It went down to the wire. Eubank was the rightful winner, but we get it again. It was one of the great British fights, if I'm honest, and that's all down to the feud that the family have that goes back so many years, and the pride and the ego of both guys of not wanting to lose. Conor Benn lost that one and he wants revenge. It's a great fight. I can't wait for this.
That was a look ahead to Eubank Jr against Ben 2 with DAZN. Watch the unmissable rematch live from the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium next Saturday, live only on DAZN. Bradders has made a great point here as a Stoke fan, Coisty, aimed at you. Listening to Ali say there are 28 games remaining, so don't rule Liverpool out. Does that mean he isn't ruling Man United out, as they have lost fewer games and have the same points?
I am ruling them out, yes.
Okay.
Because I think Liverpool have got a better squad. And I think there's more in Liverpool to suggest they can put a run together than Manchester United's consistency.
But United in better form at the moment.
Yeah, at the moment.
Yeah, and United not got European nights to cope.
I take all these points, but I think Liverpool have got a better squad.
Not going to change your mind.
No.
So Man City winning 3-0 yesterday at the Etihad. There was plenty of drama though, wasn't there? Virgil van Dijk's goal looked set to put Liverpool level, only for Chris Kavanagh to chalk it out, ruling that Andy Robertson was interfering with Gianluigi Donnarumma's line of vision, and of course he was in an offside position. Arne Slot expressed his disappointment at that decision.
The first thing I always do, check the linesman if he raises his flag. That he didn't do. And then we were celebrating, and then I think afterwards I saw it took 14 seconds before the linesman raised his flag. For me, the wrong decision was made on the pitch, and the wrong decision was made off the pitch by the V.A.R, because Donnarumma could just see the ball. He could make the ultimate dive he wanted to make. No one was interfering. Our player wasn't moving towards the ball, so there was never a doubt for Donnarumma that he had to wait a little bit longer. He immediately dived when the ball lost Virgil's head. So yeah. But that's not to say that that would have impacted the result, because City was so much better. Maybe at 1-1 at half-time they would have outplayed us the second half as well, which was not necessary for them to do anymore after being 2 and 3-0 up.
Arne Slot expressing the view, I think, of every Liverpudlian, to be brutally honest. Yeah. Well, let's find out if a former referee reckons he is right, because man refereed more than 250 times in the Premier League is Chris Foy. Morning, Chris.
Chris, good morning. How are you?
Morning, guys. Yeah, I'm really good. Thanks. Yourself?
Yeah,
I'm on top form, thanks.
All right, let's put you as the man in charge in the Etihad yesterday. Would you have ruled that goal out?
I think on balance, Jeff, I think I would have preferred a goal, but once the decision is given on field, it's very difficult then for the VAR to overturn it. I think they need clear evidence. It's very, very subjective. And is it a clear and obvious error where Michael Olive can intervene? I don't think it is.
Well, here's my question to you, Chris, right? And I'll tell you why I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'll tell you why I think it's an error. I think the referee's assistant is 100% entitled to put the flag up, because he cannot see where Robertson is effectively in the goalkeeper's eye line. So from that point of view, I think he's well within his rights to put his flag up. But I then think once you go over and the referee has a good look at it, which his assistant hasn't seen, he will see that he's not, yes, he's in an offside position, but he's not in the eye line of the goalkeeper. If anything, Doku is, and that's why I think the goal must stand.
Make an interesting point, Ali. I don't think it was disallowed for line of vision. I think it was because of the impact of, the ability of an opponent to play the ball. If you think about where Robertson was, the moment Van Dijk headed the ball, Robertson was in front of the goalkeeper momentarily, and then he moved to the left, and then he moved forward. He was never onside. He was never without of the confines of the goalpost. He was always there. He was always in the 6-yard box. And then by this time, the ball has travelled, and it's heading directly to him, and he ducks under the ball, and the ball's in the back of the net. So between the referee and the assistant, they've looked at that, and there's quite a lot to unpick with it, as I said, and that's the decision they came to. But I said it's a really subjective call. There's a lot of emotion around this. But for the VAR to intervene, it has to be clear and obviously wrong.
Yeah.
And it's a real difficult one to unpick. So it was right to stay on field, in my opinion.
Why did it take the assistant so long to flag, do you think, Chris? 13, 14 seconds?
Well, what they're doing, Jeff, is they're in communication with each other. So they're trying. They will work out, is he in an offside position? Chris Cabana has the front-on view, and that's how they work as a team. That's why they're called assistant referees. You'll see them now. They have the communications kits. They're all communication kits. They're always talking. They're always in communication over other incidents that are happening on the field where they can add value at times, and that helps with the decision making, and helps with more accurate decision making, shall we say?
Chris, here's a quick one for you. Pretty open question. VAR, does it help referees? Well, clearly you would think it should. Or does it put them under more pressure?
Do you know what, Ali? It really does help referees. If you think about the game yesterday at Crystal Palace, where the referee gave a penalty.
I was just going to mention that. It's brilliant use of VAR.
If you think about it, Jeff, without VAR, we've got a penalty that's never a penalty.
Yeah, accept that.
And a team could lose a match 1-0. That was a really good intervention. I think the Jeremy Doku one as well yesterday in the City-Liverpool game.
Yeah.
Again, was another good intervention. He tried to stay on his feet, didn't he? And he was clipped twice, actually. He tries to stay on his feet, goes down, VAR intervention. It's the right call. I'm a big fan of it. I really am, because I think it helps us get more big decisions right.
Yeah, well, you made a great point. I was watching that Palace Brighton.
So was I.
You were as well. Coisty, and initially I thought, clear penalty.
So did I.
But then when you took a look at it, it was a brilliant spot by the VAR, an absolutely brilliant spot by the VAR. Chris, thank you very much indeed.
Thanks, Chris.
Cheers, guys. Have a good day.
You too.
Cheers. And don't forget, get the definitive take on every big decision with the Men in Black podcast. Sam Matterface and Chris Foy get straight to the point. Available every Monday on the Premier League All Access podcast feed and on YouTube. Just a quick line on Alan Brazil running in the 1:30 at Kempton today. Mark from Rugeley says, the thought of Big Al's buttered hind has put me right off my crumpets. Yep, Mark, I know what you mean. Coisty, we're losing you now because you have an important appointment.
I have. I've got something I'm looking forward to for a while. I've got a sit-down interview with Carlo Ancelotti.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, at 10 o'clock this morning.
Do you know him? Have you met him?
No. Well, I've said hello, but I've never claimed to know him. So I had Big Duncan Ferguson on the phone last night with a couple of messages for him. So I'm really looking forward to it. As I say, it's well over 35 minutes, 40 minutes I've got with him. And I'm going to hopefully cover everything, all his playing career, managerial career. So I'm really looking forward. Just think how times have changed, though. I'm getting the substitute that's coming in for is Adrian Durham.
Yeah.
Back in the day, it used to be Gascoigne coming on for me, a loud drop, and now it's Durham. How the mighty have fallen.
Yeah, well, we're replacing experience with youth, or comparative youth anyway, mate. So hopefully we'll hear a bit of the Carlo Ancelotti interview tomorrow.
Sure, I look forward to see you tomorrow. Thanks.
Fantastic, Coisty. Loved your company. Thank you, mate. And as Ali mentioned, the voice of live football, Adrian Durham, will be with us in a moment or two to tell us definitively whether Liverpool are still in the title race. Remember, some of that Ali meets Carlo tomorrow morning.
have thought a sporting event's halftime show could have a bigger impact than the game itself? Well, the Super Bowl halftime show does exactly that. In 2024, Usher brought in an audience of 180 million worldwide, the biggest ever in the event's history. But how did singing and dancing get to be the centrepiece of America's biggest sporting event? The first edition of the Super Bowl was held in 1967, when the Green Bay Packers beat the Kansas City Chiefs in Los Angeles. Because of the sheer size of the event, organisers wanted to put on entertainment at halftime for the fans in the stadium. It was a display of marching bands, dancers and pure USA patriotism, and that was the theme that followed for years. In the 1980s, the Walt Disney Company got involved and we started seeing some interesting and questionable displays. But we got our first glimpse of halftime shows to come in '93, when none other than Michael Jackson stunned fans with his 15-minute medley of his own smash hits. When he walked out on stage, he had to wait for the crowd's cheers to die down for about 2 minutes before even starting his first song. Diana Ross, Gloria Estefan, Phil Collins all starred in their own shows, as did Aerosmith, who performed alongside NSYNC. Things got a little bit out of hand in 2004 when Justin Timberlake and Janet Jackson produced perhaps the most famous or infamous wardrobe malfunction in history. Shows from the likes of Prince, Lady Gaga and Beyoncé are considered by critics as the best. To give you an idea of the scale of things, Rihanna's 2023 halftime show included roughly 800 people. These ranged from backing dancers to stage crew to camera operatives broadcasting to millions around the world. The whole stage for that show was built in roughly 8 minutes and was broken down and cleared away in the same time. The acts perform for free nowadays, even though the experts reckon it costs around $13 million to put on Rihanna's show. Artists know they'll rocket up the charts in the following weeks. Rihanna's average sales improved by 140% in the months following her performance. The Super Bowl halftime show will be a fixture in pop culture for years to come. So the question is, who next?
Good morning, 9:05 on Monday, November 10th, or Monday, 10th of November, whichever you prefer. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with Arnold Clark. Get the UK's best used car deals guaranteed. I'm Jeff Stelling. We'll have Everton manager David Moyes with us from 9:30 this morning. And the Superstar Breakfast has just gathered a little bit more stardust because this iconic talkSPORT voice has joined us in the studio.
Seen the documentary, right? I mean, imagine him getting down for breakfast in the morning. Family, where's breakfast, guys? Where is it? Come on, we're standard. The ball is still out there, and I'm not comfortable with that at all. I mean, the ball has been left out there like it's not important. Get the ball in.
Oh, what's up, Abe?
Do you call me Babe?
I said Abe.
Oh,
I want to call you Babe. I don't know you that well.
You know you're not talking to Adrian Durham, don't you, Neil?
Yeah, no. I might have got that wrong then.
I've had to have emergency dental surgery this morning. I thought, there's no way I'm missing this show. No way am I missing the chance to talk about a goal that wasn't, that should have been, and Arsenal being rubbish. So, yeah, the mouth doesn't look great at the moment, but I am here, John, and I'm coming loud and clear through your speakers.
You're the man who watches more football than anyone else in the world, Ally McCoist included. Adrian Durham is with us. Morning, Aid.
Morning, Jeff. It's so good to be here. And I've just got a little message for Ali while he's on his way to meet Carlo. Gazza was never a substitute. Okay? He was never a substitute. And he was slightly better at football than me.
Yeah. Brilliant stuff, mate. Look, before we talk about the top end of the pyramid, if you like, your lot, Posh, appointed a new manager. goodness me, could not have got off to a better start. 5-0 first league game at the weekend and a cup win before that.
And 2 clean sheets, which we didn't think that was possible as Peterborough fans with the squad that we've got. It's not so much that, the manager has come in and done this. He's done it with the same players, because I think we were all thinking this squad is terrible. The chairman had said it's a top 6 squad. And I said, top 6 National League North? I mean, it looks like a terrible squad, and they played like a terrible squad. And all of a sudden, Luke Williams, who I've described, so I messaged him saying, you are some sort of football magician. He's just got clean sheets and goals. He's even got our non-goal scoring striker scoring goals at the weekend. Everything's going great, but it's either new manager bounce or it's here to stay. So let's see. But if he can take them from bottom to playoffs, is that possible? Who knows in League One?
Yeah, anything can happen. I tell you what I liked about Luke Williams is that when he was out of football, he went and worked, I think it was at Bristol Airport. And just to keep your feet on the ground and be able to take a normal job says a lot about him, I think.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, to work at an airport and keep your feet on the ground, that's something. But I just love the fact that he's just done that. He wanted to put something back in. He didn't need the money. He wanted to do a job where it was rewarding for him and for others as well. And I think that's my kind of guy. He seems like a really good bloke, and it seems like a really good fit.
Yeah, I hope it continues to go well.
I'm going to see them tomorrow at Crawley in the Virtue, which we always win.
Right.
And against...
There'll be at least another 200 there.
Yeah, at home to Stockport week on Thursday.
Oh, well, that's more of a chance. Stockport, big setback for them at the weekend, beaten at home by Luton. Let's talk about the top of the Premier League then, and City against Liverpool specifically. I mean, look, no fluke in the scoreline. City 4 points behind Arsenal. How concerned should Arsenal be?
They should be looking over their shoulders because City do look good. What you and Ali were saying earlier about Haaland and if they lose him, there's a problem. That sentence came just after you'd reeled off all the subs.
Yeah.
Now, and they have got an incredible squad, but have they got another goal scorer even remotely close to half of what Haaland is?
No.
Probably not. So
definitely not.
That could be a problem. But let's assume he stays fit, then Arsenal do have a big problem. And I think how Arsenal respond after the international break to a setback where they didn't just drop points, they conceded 2 goals. And I think we're all thinking their defence was invincible. We were all thinking it's going to be so hard to score against them, and Sunderland go and score 2 and get a point off them. So I think how Arsenal respond to that is going to be interesting. If it's the same old Arteta Arsenal, then they'll keep dropping points and they'll crumble and they won't win the league. But they've looked the best team so far.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are suggesting that showed some vulnerability in Arsenal, but it's one game, and we shouldn't underestimate how difficult it is to go to the Stadium of Light.
Yeah, I mean, the atmosphere there, I was there first day of the season when they beat West Ham. I've been there a couple of times since, and I'm not joking, that atmosphere... I'm not a big believer in the crowds, give you a goal or give you a head start or whatever, because the crowd can be great, but sometimes that puts players under pressure. That crowd, though, are totally and 100% with the players, and I do think it adds something. There's something the manager, and in particular Granit Xhaka, has helped develop there, which is a togetherness with everybody, including the crowd, and I think it really does help them. It's a brilliant atmosphere. And this guy at the back, Dan Ballard, is just sensational. Here's a question, though. He was born in Stevenage. He's got 29 Northern Ireland caps. If he had waited... Now, listen, he may feel Northern Irish through and through, and in which case, fine. But if he waited... Given Mark Gahey being out this week, might he have got a call-up? We'll never know.
My view is that he probably would have done. Yeah. He has been one of the standout performers, not just for Sunderland this season, but in the Premier League this season, in my view. And the block, not just his goal, the block at the end was just brilliant. And it typified everything that's Sunderland.
Yeah, absolutely right. And everything that you have to do when you come up to stay in the Premier League. They're not just staying in the Premier League, they're flourishing at the moment, fourth in the table, aren't they? So,
brilliant.
Absolutely incredible. Yeah.
But, of course, Liverpool. Look, we had a difference of opinion. Coisty thinks there's still a chance that they could defend their title. I think it's all over as far as they're concerned. Where do you stand?
Yeah, it's done, isn't it? You can't see... Right, they've got to catch up with Arsenal. Now, Arsenal are not going to crumble like they normally do, okay? They may drop points, but I can't see them crumbling like they normally do. So Liverpool have got to make up that gap of 8 points. So that's 3 wins, and Arsenal have got to drop points at the same time as well. Man City have also got to drop points. There's only 4 points the gap, but they looked far inferior. Now, are these signings going to suddenly click? I don't think so. It's just one of those things that Liverpool have dropped off from where they were last season, and it happens. The Joe versus Joe call earlier was absolutely sensational. Plant pots are quite useful, by the way. I will point that out. But I cannot see Liverpool winning the title. I would say they're definitely out of it. Not because they can't win games or can't amass points, but it's because the teams above them, particularly Arsenal and Man City. I think it's a 2-horse race, by the way. Arsenal and Man City. I think that's it. They're not going to drop enough points for Liverpool to get back in it.
I mean, Joe won. He wanted Arne Slot out. But is he in a minority amongst Liverpool fans, do you think?
Well, what you've got to remember is that the owners have allowed Richard Hughes to go and buy all these players and spend a huge amount of money, okay? Now, as we've seen at Norwich, who goes first? The fans were calling for the director of football to go at the weekend, Ben Napper. Liam Manning has gone. That was always, I said it on Saturday, Manning's going to go before the director of football. The same thing will happen at Liverpool. Now, I can't see it happening anytime soon because he's, as you rightly pointed out, he's got in the bank a Premier League trophy. He won the Premier League in his first season, which not even Pep did. So I can't see him being sacked. However, he will be scrutinised because so much money has been spent. And if at the end of the season, they haven't got Europe next season, if they're not in the Champions League next season, I think that his position will be reviewed. I really do.
Obviously, one of the talking points, and nobody knows what would have made any difference or not, was the disallowed Virgil van Dijk goal. Now, I felt it should have stood. Chris Foy said a moment or two ago that it was very subjective. Where do you stand?
It cannot be a goal. It cannot be allowed to stand. And here's the reason, right? Van Dijk heads it towards Robertson. Okay, it's on Robertson. Robertson is on that side, and it goes towards Robertson to the point where Robertson has to duck. Okay, and that for me is key. He's got to duck to avoid the ball. All right, it's not in the line of vision, but he's impacting what's going on. He's had to duck. Why is Robertson standing there? It's to put off the keeper. He's not standing there because he wants to be offside. He's not standing there because he wants to tap it in. He's standing there to put the keeper off. So because he's doing that,
he did not prevent Donnarumma from attempting to save it. And if you listen to Jamie Carragher, who in this case is obviously completely unbiased, the way Donnarumma's weight was on his other foot at the time. There was no way he could have got back across to stop that.
That to me cannot come into it because, the linos, the V.A.R. officials, they are not football experts and certainly not goalkeeping experts who can decide, his weight's there, so he's not going to get to it. That can't come into it at all, okay? What I would say is that if it goes the other side, if Van Dijk heads it the other side, it's definitely a goal, okay? Even though Robertson's in an offside position, but because it goes towards him and he ducks, I think that you have to disallow that goal. And bear this in mind as well. Was he late getting to it? And you talk about the weight being on his foot, and that might well have been the reason. But was he late getting to it because he didn't know if Robertson, in his corner of his eye, is Robertson going to head it the other side? Have I got to stay in this position long enough to know if he's going to head it the other side? So that, I think it impacts him definitely. So you have to rule the goal out.
Look, whatever the case, there's no question City were by far the better side on the day, thoroughly deserved their victory. Johnny in Bedford's just texted, he said, Brian Clough said if he's not interfering with play, shouldn't be on the pitch. The Van Dijk goal was rightly ruled offside and interfering with play. Thank you very much indeed, Johnny. Aid, coming up, we'll turn our attention to the other end of the table and we'll ask the question of Daniel Farker on borrowed time at Leeds. We'll discuss that next. Good morning. Very nearly 20 minutes past 9 o'clock. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling and Adrian Durham. Through until 10 o'clock. I've got a text saying, what happened to talking about Rob Edwards after 9? As usual, just talking about the top 3 teams all morning. Be patient, be patient. After 9 goes on at least until 10, and we will talk about Rob Edwards.
Did we just talk about Peterborough?
Show. Yeah, we did.
They're definitely not in the top 3, top 6 of the Premier League.
No, not this season.
Yeah.
No, not this season. Yeah.
Soon.
Now, they had to come from behind, but Sean Dyche is a league win in charge of Forest at the third time of asking. They beat Leeds 3-1 at the City Ground, and after the game, Sean praised his side's fight.
Yeah, another pleasing thing. Man U were 1-up when we came back in the end drew, but, it was looking like a real positive performance and possibly a win, which went away. But today, the same thing happened, but we acted very quickly, and then second half, made a few changes to just to spark the group up, and then they took that into performance, and we scored goals from open play as well. Well, we get a penalty obviously, but from open play I thought it was good.
Well, he's having an impact at Forest, that is for sure. And I don't know what you Aid, I always suspected, that Forest squad, it's a cliche, is too good to go down. But is Leeds squad too good to go down?
No, on Forest, I think it's just a question of if Sean Dyche and the owner can stay good friends. If they fall out, it's when they fall out. It will happen at some point when they fall out. That's the key with Forest. But with Leeds, I saw them at Brighton last week. They lost 3-0 and they were absolutely dreadful. And for me, before that game, I thought that they're going to be okay. Watching that game, it was chaotic. There was no real chance of them scoring a goal. You couldn't see how they were going to get a route to goal. Defending was optional, and I just thought there's nothing going on here that suggests that they're going to be okay, and I thought they were in deep trouble. And taking the lead and then falling behind again and losing at Forest has only reinforced that. Their run of games coming up is an absolute shocker.
It is.
And actually, it all points to maybe a change of manager before the January window, because I think they won't pick up many points before the end of December, and therefore they will be in the bottom 3 by the end of December. And that's when the Leeds board will look at it and say, do you know what, Daniel, you've done what you can, but you're not a Premier League manager. You're a guy who gets teams up from the Championship.
Yeah, and they may say that, but if I was him, I would be saying, well, look at the squad that you've given me. This is not a Premier League squad. In terms of goal scoring, they've got huge issues.
Yeah, massive issues. Basically, they took a risk. I like the fact that they took a risk on Calvert-Lewin, but to have him as the guy who's going to score you the bundle of goals that you need to stay in the league is a massive gamble, because he's had 1-2 good seasons. Remember that time when Ancelotti was there and he got in the England squad, had a couple of good seasons, good numbers, and you thought, here he goes. Injuries have got in the way, but I was watching him yesterday and thought, this isn't a guy who's going to get you 10, 15 goals a season. Now, if he does, fair enough, but you couldn't see it. So I think Leeds have got big problems. I think their fans know they've got big problems as well. I would look at, you're right about the squad. Okay, so Daniel Farke can point to that, but I'd look at in-game as well. He didn't make changes until it was too late. That's on him, and I think that's a regular pattern with Daniel Farke. He's too reactionary. He can't see things happening before they happen, and the better managers, the Premier League managers, can do that, and therefore they stem the problem before it gets out of hand. So I think that's one issue counting against him. Listen, I've interviewed him. I like him as a bloke, but I think Leeds will need to stay in the Premier League, and I can see a change coming in January. Let's see if that happens.
We've always been waxing lyrical about the promoted sides, but Leeds and Burnley now are both looking firmly over their shoulders. It was a massive win for West Ham against Burnley the week. It might not have been the prettiest of performances, but are you beginning to feel that Nuno can get West Ham out of trouble?
Yeah, you always did, didn't you? When Nuno got there, didn't you think that was going to be it?
Again, I looked at the West Ham squad and I thought, not sure about this. I still look at the West Ham squad and think, not sure about this. I'll tell you one thing that he has done, which I think is absolutely the right thing, has made a big difference. And not just because he scored on Saturday. He's put a proper centre-forward in at centre-forward. And Callum Wilson, who knows, his movement is different class. He knows how to play as a 9.
You know what, with Callum Wilson, we interviewed him at the weekend after the game, and we played it on the show on Game Day Live Saturday. And he was asked about, Alex Crook asked him about whether he still thinks he could go to the World Cup. Now, he went to Qatar, if you remember. And he said, yeah, that's what I'm aiming for. Now, whether we think he's going to get into the squad or not is irrelevant, really. But the fact that he's got that hunger and that desire to get on the pitch and prove his worth and show that he's still got what it takes at international level can only be good for West Ham United. it was a weird situation before. There was a lot of talk about, is he on a bonus if he plays? Is it pay as you play and all that sort of stuff? So that's why he wasn't getting off the bench before. And that all seems to have been resolved or put to one side. And he's on the pitch, which is probably where he belongs. If they need goals and you've got a goal scorer, I think there's a logic there, isn't there? Yeah. You put the goal scorer on the pitch. So, yeah, he got his goal. And listen, I can't see him going to the World Cup. He's only picked one striker this time, Tuchel, which... Although he did say Phil Foden is a 9.5 stroke 10.5, didn't he? I'm intrigued by what he might do.
I'm amazed he didn't put Welbeck in.
Yeah, it's harsh because I don't think there's a negative with putting Welbeck in other than is he thinking age-wise, I want to just go with younger players, but his job is to win the World Cup.
Exactly.
So it doesn't matter if they're 55 or 25, does it really?
Yeah.
So
well, there'd probably be a few question marks. He put 55-year-olds.
All right, fair enough. But yeah, with West Ham, for me, it's no surprise. Nuno, he messed around a little bit, putting right backs at left back and vice versa, etc. He was getting to know his squad, and he didn't hit the ground running. But for me, it's no surprise that he's managed to find the way to get results.
Yeah, and he knows how to win West Ham fans over, not just with results, but by putting the likes of Freddie Potts in.
Who's actually a good player.
Yeah, he's a good player, and he's been there, since he was 7? Nobody's ever really given him that opportunity. I was asking Coisty earlier on, are Fulham in the mix for this? Because, they didn't really invest before the start of the season. Marco Silva's worked wonders there. But aside from their win over Wolves recently, they've been pretty much in freefall.
They were second best at Everton at the weekend, which surprised me because he actually normally goes there and wins, Marco Silva, to his old club. And they had a terrible window, and Marco Silva wasn't backwards in coming forwards about that. They did sign Kevin, a record signing for nearly 35 million, and he's only started the last 2 games. And I was wondering, well, why isn't he putting him in the team? And then he puts him in the team, and they won that game, but then they've gone and lost to Everton. So, yeah, I think so. I think that it could be one of those situations where he's been there a little while now and maybe it's just run out of energy as far as Marco Silva's concerned. He was so frustrated by the window, I think they might just have a little bit of a problem. They could get sucked in. Leeds get sucked in as well. And Wolves are already down, aren't they?
Yeah. Do you think so?
Yeah, we've just sorted the season out, haven't we?
Yeah. No, look, I mean...
all done.
Yeah, well, Dave Stevens from Coral said, they're 8-1 on at the moment. To be honest, I think that's, pretty short. They should be, I see them as 20-1 on shots. I just don't see any way. 2 points at this stage of the season. And again, sorry to labour the point, but I look at their squad and it's not Premier League class.
No, it's not. They lost too many good players, didn't replace those players as well. And the manager completely lost his way, and it took them too long to make that change. So yeah, I think Wolves are definitely gone. I think they'll be a force in the Championship next season without a doubt.
Yeah,
Wolverhampton Wanderers, I think. So there are actually some good players there, just not enough at the moment.
Yeah, I think that Rob Edwards will be thinking they're a force in the Championship next season. We'll talk about Rob Edwards a bit later. Greeno, the postie, is a regular contributor to the show, Aid. He says, please let Aid know. Says, I watched his posh team at Exeter this season. They were by far the worst team I've seen at Exeter in many years. Woeful.
Hang on. If he's watched Exeter a lot at Exeter, they've been far worse over the years than Peterborough United.
Look, if you missed it, we had an all-time radio moment earlier on. Adrian referenced it. We were joined about an hour ago by 2 Liverpool fans, both named Joe. But that's about all they did have in common. Have a listen.
You know what, Joe? You're a plant pot, mate. How can you dare say? How can you have the audacity? How long have you been watching Liverpool, mate?
All my life, 24 years, mate.
24 years? We'll get back to bed and get another 36 into you and then start talking about Liverpool.
But this is ridiculous.
Where have you come from? How have you got started?
Go on. Let me hear what you have to say.
It's a new... I'm not talking to you. Liverpool Football Club, mate. They're here for a long time, and they'll be a lot longer than you and me. Okay? I've been watching them 60 years, mate.
All right, well, I'm going to say the same thing in 60 years as well.
With me, please, you're not a politician. Let me have a conversation.
Okay, go on.
Yes, yesterday we were poor yesterday, but we're getting better, and we're getting our formation. It takes time. Rome wasn't built in a day, Joseph. It takes time, son.
Listen, saying I think it's time for Slot to go, I don't understand how that's controversial. There's plenty of other managers that could potentially get the best out of this team, potentially get the best out of our players.
Well, for me, clear winner of that argument was Joe. Coming up, Everton fans, stay tuned. We're joined live by your manager, David Moyes. That's next.
let's be honest, we've all found ourselves raging at a referee's decision at some stage. Something like this?
That is an absolutely shocking decision.
They've got a case in that it was a bad decision.
It's such a poor decision.
Yeah, I think he's just made a bad decision in that instance.
But what does it take to get to the very top level of football refereeing? You can apply to become a referee through your local county FA from as soon as your 14th birthday. After spending several hours either in the classroom or on the pitch, they'll grant you level 7 status, which allows you to officiate amateur games. Then you'll work your way through the ranks of amateur football, not reaching the National League until level 2. It's a long process, bearing in mind every level from 7 upwards takes an average of a year. Also, there's no specific number of games you have to ref or hours you have to log before moving on up. You simply just have to be good enough. Once you're level 2 and have enough experience at a National League level, you can apply to the EFL to become a level 1 referee. Then it's on you to get enough experience to climb through the ranks and eventually become a Premier League referee. In total, there are 37,000 registered referees across England, but the PGMOL has only deemed 21 good enough to officiate games in the top flight. So if you want to make it to the top, there's less than a 1 in 1,000 chance of doing it, and it'll take you a decade to get there.
Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast with Arnold Clark. Get the UK's best used car deals guaranteed. I'm Jeff Stelling. With me through till 10, our voice of live football, Adrian Durham. Right, the big news this morning, gripping the nation, is that Alan Brazil will be running in the 1:30 at Kempton Park today. Let's get more on what we can expect from the horse with talkSPORT racing correspondent Rupert Bell.
Morning all. Well, Alan Brazil is hoping to run in the 1:30 at Kempton. The only trouble is, I've heard from Nick Schofield, the horse's trainer, that he's one thirsty beast, particularly when he normally finishes work at 10 o'clock. He then is on basically drinking non-stop. So the big question is, will the horse even turn up at 1:30? And if he does turn up, will he be able to run in a straight line? Because that's something that Alan Brazil, as we know, doesn't do very often.
Yeah, well, you do see horses sometimes, don't you? When they see the stables, they run off the course and head towards the stables. And with Alan Brazil, it's going to be as soon as he sees the beer tent, isn't it? You know, it's straight off towards it. But look, first outing, I think it's a big long shot. And I'm told that the horse is going to be kind of a bit of overweight as well. But
I also have heard that since it was mentioned on here, he's drifted miles out in betting as well, because we've not been talking the horse up because it's called Alan Brazil. But we shall see. I'll be amazed, like Rupert. I'll be amazed if he turns up in time to get in those stalls, and if he gets in the stalls.
Yeah, best of luck. Actually, it's a jump race, I think, isn't it? So we won't have stalls today, which is very good news indeed.
But can you imagine him jumping? Honestly, that's just not going to happen, is it?
Brilliant, yeah. Man United, let's talk about them. Well, and Spurs as well, because 2-2 draw in the... Actually, we talked a lot about Man United. Let's touch on Spurs, shall we? No shot on target in the first half. I thought that Thomas Frank had reacted to some of the criticism because he played a very attacking side, but they still for a lot of the game, weren't creating anything at all.
Well, they weren't, and I think it would have been incredibly fortunate had they won the game.
Yeah.
And they all thought they'd won it. Richarlison definitely thought they'd won it. But you're right, it was an attacking side that couldn't defend a 2-1 lead right at the very end of the game.
Against 10 men.
I'm a bit positive about Spurs. I spoke to a Spurs fan who says this is a bit like Nuno. The quality of the football isn't there, and if the results don't follow as well, then it could be a short-lived reign for Thomas Frank. He's got to click into gear with the Spurs fans and understand what they want. That's not easy, by the way.
Just wonder what the expectations are. They finished 17th last season.
True.
You know, and and Spurs fans will say, yeah, but they won a trophy, you know, and completely get that. But they had a very fortunate draw during that run to the final, and they won probably the worst European final on record.
Mate, if you list the teams they beat en route to winning the Europa League, you realise just how easy that was for them. I mean, that to me, it's a great thing to have happened for them. It's not a sign of greatness, though.
Yeah.
And it was a terrible. I was there at the final. It was dreadful.
Absolutely.
Man United will have so many regrets about that final just for not bothering to turn up.
Yeah, I think Wilson Odobert did enough at the weekend to suggest that he'll be starting the next game for Spurs. Let's move on to Wolves, because Rob Edwards appears to have agreed a 3.5-year contract there. He's been in talks with Wolves since Saturday after he was stood down from Middlesbrough's championship game with Birmingham. Borough expected to receive significant compensation. Wolves got still winless after that thumping 3-0 defeat against Chelsea. What do you make of it all? Because Middlesbrough fans, of course, they look on Rob Edwards now as a Judas. But on the other hand, there's not much loyalty in football, is there, from either management or from clubs themselves?
You know, there isn't. And he can't possibly complain ever again. If he's sacked, no matter how unreasonable, Rob Edwards cannot possibly complain. I think this is... When he's gone into Borough, and I think he's a little bit fortunate to get that chance, because he left Luton he did well with Luton and then left them in a terrible position whereby they're now in League One. Okay, so I think he's fortunate to get the chance at Middlesbrough, and he embraced it. He was full of kissing the badge. He was full of saying, wow, look at the training ground. He was full of saying, yeah, I'm it's a privilege to be here, etc., etc. And then Wolves just knock on his door and off he goes. And I think that I can't wait for the LMA statement on this, by the way, because I'm just hoping it's a little bit more honest.
Just in his defence, you know, clubs sack managers every day of the week. There's no job security whatsoever. He's an ex-club captain at Wolves. His family live in the Midlands. You can see, I mean, the job is right for him. Probably the timing is completely out.
I get all of those things, and there's a lot of boxes ticked there, but wouldn't it be great if he just said, you know what, Middlesbrough have shown a little bit of faith in me, so I'm actually going to stay here and complete the job here. What I'd look at is, does he actually think that Borough squad is good enough to go up? Has he overachieved with them already? Does he think that there's maybe not a regular goal scorer there that he needs to take them into the top 2, top 6? I don't know, but I was surprised by it. I thought he might actually turn around and say... And the other thing about it is, Jeff, Wolves, the fans are not at one with the owners, so that's a big problem. The squad there is decimated, as we've just talked about, and even though there's some good players there, it's still not a squad that's going to form an 11 that's good enough to stay up, so not in my opinion. So it's a miracle if he keeps them up. And if it's all about, I need to be closer to home and I used to be the captain, are those the real reasons? Are those good enough reasons for a manager to go to a football club? Surely he should be looking at the squad saying, I can do special things here. And I'm not sure he can.
I think so few games into, you know, his new job. He's just signed, was it 4 or 5 months ago? He signed a long-term contract at Middlesbrough. That's what really disappoints the Middlesbrough fans. Added to the fact, of course, as you said, he's been so fulsome in his praise of the club. Now, people say he's walking away for a huge club, but I would question that, because Fosun, the owners, their ambition, well, they don't really have any ambition. Their only ambition is to stay in the Premier League. They sell their best players season after season. Yeah, they get 30,000 through the door, but Borough had 30,000 for their home game with Wrexham 2 or 3 weeks ago. So I accept that Wolves might be a slightly bigger club than Middlesbrough. I don't see much in it. Certainly don't see that he's moving to a huge club.
No, I don't see anything in it. I think you could put Middlesbrough where Wolves are and nobody would be surprised about it. That they are a very similar size club. For me, it might just be about, personal comfort and going back home and all that sort of stuff, which is fine, and we're all entitled to a bit of that. But when you've signed that big contract and said, wow, about the training ground and you're privileged to be there, come on, at least live up to those words. So I'm just a little bit disappointed in Rob Edwards. Having said that, he's taken Luton to the Premier League. They came within a whisker of staying up. Had the board invested in January, they might have stayed up under Rob Edwards. And he might just think to himself, I did all that at Luton and ended up getting the sack. So, I get the loyalty thing.
Yeah, I mean, my concern for him would be that he might well have 2 relegations on his CV at the end of this season.
It's certain, isn't it?
Yeah. I think so. Yeah, I think it is certain.
Yeah, we both think that. And I think that's... It is long enough in the season for it to be on his record. He can't say somebody else's team went down.
Middlesbrough, looking to the future, I'm being linked with Carlos Corberán and Brian Barry Murphy.
At Cardiff, yeah.
Yeah, Cardiff, who's interesting. He's done a good job there. I know they've had a few setbacks, but I think he's done a good job with a very, very young squad. So we shall see. I mean, it's a good job. The fans are on side. At the moment, we've got a great chairman in Steve Gibson.
And one other thing, I think that the guy who stood in 85 Ash at Middlesbrough said that the win over Birmingham was for the fans. So in his mind, I'm thinking, this is interesting. He said it's for the fans. He therefore acknowledges the fans are really upset with Rob Edwards, who used to be the manager he worked with. I thought it was an interesting comment.
Yeah. Andy has texted and he says, "Morning, gents. I live in the Black Country. Have a few Wolves fans as mates. They don't understand why Rob Edwards is going to the club at the moment. It is an absolute plant pot of a club. It's all over the place. They think that he is making a massive mistake." Now, let's hear from the man who Adrian's had his fair share of run-ins in the past. A long time in the past, in fairness. Jamie Carragher was on the Sunday edition yesterday. He gave us his take on Florian Wirtz's form at Liverpool.
It's not a case of, you buy someone like Florian Wirtz and it doesn't quite work where you maybe thought it would initially, which is maybe a number 10 position. When you've paid that type of money, you have to make it work. You have to almost find a role. How can we get the best out of him? And I think the majority of his best work for Germany and Bayer Leverkusen comes not as a left winger, but in the left half spaces, almost the left half of the pitch, if you like, in that attacking third. Now, if playing left midfield, inside left, not left wing, but inside left can work for him. And also, when you think of central midfield in the Premier League, there's always at least 6 players in there, sometimes even 8, in such a small area of the pitch. Now, maybe in that position where he played against Real Madrid, there's just that little bit more space for him. And as I said, I think he looks at his best when he's sort of centre-left, if you like. And I think that's maybe somewhere where we can see him going forward, when you feel like he could actually fit into the team, and there could be a role for him.
Thought he looked like a little boy lost at the weekend, Adrian.
Yeah, he did. But then I think a lot of Liverpool players did.
Yeah, they did.
Wirtz I've watched a lot in the last few years, and he's been brilliant. I don't think there's any denying that. And actually, I think that the problem there is that Jamie Carragher's talking about is he inside left, and then if you play him in that position, you'll get the best out of him. Fine. I don't think that's the biggest issue that Liverpool face at the moment. I think when they solve other issues, players like Wirtz will play better. I think the biggest issue they've got, the biggest problem Liverpool have got at this moment in time is Mo Salah, who clearly doesn't work hard enough going the other way. And for me, yes, he has scored goals this season. It's not like he hasn't scored any goals at all. But is he scoring enough goals to be allowed that freedom not to do the job for the team? That's a big problem. It's a big, bold manager who drops Mo Salah on a regular basis. As a one-off, fine. But on a regular basis, you leave him out. And when you bear in mind they've got Ekitike, they've got Isak, they've got players that can play in those positions. I'm looking at that situation thinking, I'm wondering when Mo Salah is going to be left out of the team.
Yeah. Coming up the other side of Merseyside, we'll be talking to the Everton manager, David Moyes. He's with us next. Good morning, 9:50. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with Arnold Clark. Get the UK's best used car deals guaranteed. I'm Jeff Stelling, our voice of live football. Adrian Durham with us this morning. Big win for Everton at the weekend, beating Fulham by 2-0. It ended a 3-game winless run. It moves Everton nicely into mid-table, really. 5 points clear of the relegation zone. Joining us is a man who's managed the third most Premier League games in history. It's the Everton manager, David Moyes. Morning, David.
Morning, Dave.
Morning, Jeff. Morning, Adrian.
Dave, I just want to start off, actually, with asking about one of your players. We were going to hear from him. We heard from him yesterday, actually, and that's Jimmy Garner. He must be a manager's dream, isn't he?
Oh, he's been fantastic since I came in. I didn't realise probably how good he was, but he's been so good. He's played great at midfield. And I've said a couple of times recently, he's probably getting closer to getting talked about for England, I think, because of his performances. But he's played fullback for me as well. He's done a brilliant job, Jimmy, for us, and he's playing very well.
When you say he's been, you're surprised maybe he hasn't been called up. How close do you think that England call-up is? Because I've been to your brilliant new stadium a couple of times this season, and he's played different positions, and he's played really well in those positions. Scored that great goal in the first game against Brighton. How close do you? I know you're not Thomas Tuchel, but how close do you think he is?
Well, look, I just think when I saw, I think Alex Scott's done brilliantly well for Bournemouth as well. And by the way, there's England have got so many good players to select. So for MD to try and select the team, as I was listening to the discussions all week, is Bellingham and Foden, etc. So all I'm saying is Jimmy's one of the group of English young midfield players, and I'm calling him young because I think he still is, who maybe in the future has got a chance of getting a call up.
David, you just talked about the players England have got. Can I get you on record saying England are going to win the World Cup next summer?
Not a chance, Adrian. I couldn't cross the border again if I said that.
Are we close to it, do you think?
But I have to say that England are incredibly strong. And I think maybe the hardest thing which might need to come into it, and it's a longer discussion than the time we've probably got, is the conditions in America, etc., which might have other impacts on just if you didn't get it right on a quarter final or a semi final, you could find yourself. So, but I think England will probably go with as strong a side as MD's going to go to the World Cup. That's for sure.
There you go, Aid. England incredibly strong. That's as close as you're going to get. Okay. David, Adrian touched on the new stadium. Look, a lot of clubs find it difficult to settle into new stadiums. So 15 points from 11 games. So there's no new stadium curse. How satisfied are you with the start you've made?
Look, we've been pretty pleased with the start we've made. We started, especially the opening sort of 6 games, we're in a sort of a more loftier league position than we are just now. But, since that, we're away games. We've had quite tough away games. When you think that, we've been to Sunderland, we've been to Man City, we've been to Anfield already. So some of those games have been difficult. With an opening night at Leeds United, in the which, as you can know, when teams come up, it's never good to get them in the first game if you can help it. So we're away games at the moment have been pretty tough. And I'm pleased with our home form. In the main, it's gone very well, as you rightly say. Quite often going to a new stadium can be difficult, and it still could be. It sometimes takes you time to settle into a sort of new home, and we've settled in quite well, quite quickly.
Yeah, I want to know your views on the stadium. Bearing in mind you've been in there a few games now. The Palace game was exceptional. I thought the atmosphere was fantastic. At other times in other games, the atmosphere has been a little bit quiet. Maybe the fans trying to get used to the stadium, but I do think it's one of the very best stadiums in the world. You've been in loads of stadiums, David. What do you think?
Adrian, it's a brilliant stadium for Evertonians, and for what we wanted and what we needed was an incredible thing what the club have gone and done. And the years of waiting on it, as we said, it's arrived now, we're in it. And yeah, you're right. I think there was moments in the stadium where the atmosphere has been out of this world. It really has been. But there's other moments because of the size. It's bigger. Where there's moments of quiet as well. But I think that's people getting used to it, getting used to the seats and where you sit and who the people you're sitting with, etc. But overall, we've been really impressed by it. And behind the scenes as well, they've done a really good job in behind dressing rooms and all the areas round for media, etc. So they've done a good job.
Yeah. I mean, look, lovely stadium, sitting nicely in the table at the moment. All you need now is a striker to go on a goal-scoring streak, isn't it?
Well, I've been listening to you a bit this morning, and I think you've been talking about nearly all clubs talking about needing strikers, you know, and let's be fair, it's not. Even at West Ham, I used to keep getting said, you need to buy a new striker, and I thought, yeah, you're probably right, but we couldn't find one, so we had to try and get Marko Arnautovic became a centre forward, Mickey Antonio became a centre forward. So sometimes you have to find it within if you can't find it. And look, it's something which is becoming. It's always been important. It's not as if it's just important now. It's always been important in football, but it's just felt probably a bit more difficult, definitely, to get people who can get those goals which everybody needs.
I'm fascinated by Jordan Pickford. He hit another one of those brilliant sidewinders to Jack Grealish. It led to a disallowed goal at the weekend. What a pass that was. But I was at your first press conference after the Brighton game, the first game, and you actually said, I think these were your words, he frustrates me when he's kicking it all over the place. He was actually world-class that day. I mean, he saved a penalty. He was sensationally good, and he's clearly England's number one. I mean, by that comment that you made, are you saying that he could improve his distribution even more?
By the way, what on Saturday, his distribution was out of this world. He had a couple of sidewinders, which he said, which were incredibly good. So that's the difference, Adrian. Getting him to kick at that level and do it consistently is great. He is a great kicker of the ball generally, but he can have moments where he's a bit wild and a bit free with it. But he made a couple of great stops for us at the weekend as well. Fulham, for us, probably deserving the victory, had a couple of moments, but I think that's the way it is in the Premier League. I don't think there's any teams at the moment sort of hugely dominating for 90 minutes. And, we've got to try and make sure that when we're not in the dominating force, then we can defend well, and Jordan's a huge part of that. And he's played really well for us, Jordan. His saves are incredible, and he's a great distributor, and Saturday was a great example of that.
Got a question from a listener, Dave. Nothing to do with Everton, in actual fact. He said, but can you ask David how he thinks Preston North End are doing this season and how he thinks he'll do for the rest of the season? I mean, it's a club close to your heart, obviously.
Yeah. Well, Preston are doing brilliantly well. Paul Heckingbottom's doing a great job. And I think that I don't think they'll be probably enough to go right up. But if they could be in and around it, it would be incredible for them, because, I always think, I look at the sides around the Lancashire area where we live, and, most of them have had a taste of the Premier League. Preston have just never been able to get that. So it would be fantastic if they could get even close to it. It really would be.
We had Mickey Gray at Everton at the weekend, and he told me after the game that he thought Jack Grealish was exceptional, and he's got to be knocking on the England door. How good has he been on and off the pitch for you, David?
Jack's been really good. Jack, I mean, he's helped us retain the ball more, upward numbers as far as possession go, all those things. Obviously, his goal assists have been huge, and I'm sort of driving it home to him that, I think it's good being an assist maker, but it's even better being a goal scorer. So I'm trying to get him to get on the goal sheet more often if possible. But look, he's given us a real strength in how he plays. Him and Ellie and Jai have both played really, really well, both of them, and helped